Hello everyone and welcome back to The Other Castle.
The Other Castle. I'm Andrea.
And my name is Tom.
And we do the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite video games, from production to coming out to the actual story, turning into an audiobook of the game, which is very fun.
Yes, it is. And if this is your first time checking us out, you can go to our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Over there we have links to our Instagram, our Discord, our item shop, and even our Patreon.
Our Patreon is $2 a month. The first 2 weeks are free, and there are tiers above $2 that get you extra shows.
Yes, we have our Patreon exclusive series, The Other Castle Side Quests, where we cover DLCs, histories, movie commentaries, and so much more. And at $5 above, you get The Other Castle Plays Around, our exclusive video series.
No free feet.
No free feet whatsoever.
I love socks. It's great. And you know what else I love? Indiana Jones.
He is one of your first loves, isn't he?
Truly, that was a turning point for me hormonally. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. And here's the thing, I'm not special. That's the case for a lot of people. I fell in love with these movies when I was a kid, as so many other people did, discovering who they are and what helps.
Yes, shirtless Indiana Jones. That has always been a thing for you.
Who wouldn't it be a thing for? So obviously, Harrison Ford is a gorgeous slab of meat. But also, Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh,
Karen Allen, what a vision of beauty and grace and, like, badassery. She's so fucking cool.
she is.
The first comic book I ever bought was an Indiana Jones 52, where I was about, like, probably 8 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I love Indiana Jones. I've been trying for years, audience, to get Tom here to do an Indiana Jones cosplay with me, where I get dressed as Indiana Jones.
And what do I get to dress as?
His most famous help. Adversary?
Foe? A rock?
The boulder.
She wants me to dress up as the fucking boulder.
How cute would that be? And then I could make a little pouch and you can hold all my stuff.
Yeah, and then I trip and I fall and then I roll and I just look ridiculous.
No, because I'll be next to you. It'll be movie magic.
Yeah, you're not going to help me. You're going to run away.
Well, that's part of the movie magic. I don't want to deter from the script. Come, let's be real. Anyway, please help me in this. Join our Discord and help convince my husband to dress as a boulder for me.
Stop encouraging bullying. I thought we went over this.
We did. Every entry in the original Indiana Jones trilogy is very fun. The first one explores a beautiful, wide world. The second dives deep into the occult. And the third one is a fucking buddy comedy with one of the best Bond boys, Sean Connery.
Honestly, it's almost a parody of Indiana Jones movies. Having rewatched the whole series recently, it was like, this one's just silly.
They kill Nazis with a bird.
With a bird.
And to be clear, we do not legally recognize any additional film entries after The Last Crusade in this house.
I've seen all of them. You just refuse to.
I like that you enjoy fanfic. That's great. These are all massive feats of storytelling. They're fun. The music is so memorable to the point where I'm earnestly concerned about copyright strikes on this video.
Yeah, right.
When we post it to YouTube. But how did we get here? In 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark was released in theaters. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas worked on the script. It's an epic exploration of faith and fascism set in 1935, located all over the world. The following year, in 1982, the first Indiana Jones game was released on the Atari 2600.
Oof.
It's titled Raiders of the Lost Ark, and is allegedly the first movie tie-in game in history.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating, especially considering the future history of Steven Spielberg games and the Atari.
Oh, the E.T. game?
Yeah.
The famous landfill starter?
Yeah.
So from here, the whole franchise ramped up. Movies kept coming out. There was a comic book run, a TV series that followed the young Indiana Jones, which this is strange casting. I don't know if this will mean anything to you, but young Indiana Jones was played by Sean Patrick Flanery from the Boondock Saints.
Love it.
I don't know what he's being typecast as, but it's fun. 10 video games were released that were adaptations to existing Indiana Jones stories, and 13 were released with original stories, including the game we're covering today. And just to sidetrack, because I think this is funny, in the mid-2000s, there was a pitch to Lucasfilm to do a Lego Indiana Jones / Tomb Raider crossover game.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so Lucasfilm got the pitch, and they said, oh, no thank you, because they, as a whole, had no interest in the Tomb Raider series. And
I get that.
The idea of them just going, I have no interest in this, is never not funny to me.
They also exist in completely different eras, so, you know, it's not like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. It could be, though.
Right.
It's Lego. You could have like a Lego island situation.
Yeah, I mean, making it all Lego would have been fun.
Yeah, and I'd like the Lego games. I think they're actually very cheeky. I like the humor in them. I think it'd be fun. But the idea of the Lucasfilm team being like, all right, we have a proposal from Lego. They're going to write us a blank check because they're going to make so many fucking copies of this. And they were like, ew.
Still no.
No. Today's game aside, we haven't had a new Indiana Jones game since 2011.
Wow.
The Lucasfilms team worked on a few movies, but the gaming segment had really gotten stale. In 2021, 10 years after the last Indiana Jones game came out, Lucasfilms and Bethesda came forward to break the streak. Todd Howard, the Pennsylvania-born legendary game creator behind the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, was announced as the executive producer of the latest Indiana Jones game.
Is that a yay?
I mean, it got done.
Yeah, right. I guess so. No, it is a yay for sure. He's made some great games.
And he's really dedicated. He's been trying to get this project going for a long time.
He has.
He actually went to LucasArts to pitch an Indiana Jones game back in 2009.
Wow.
And they got as far as to start hiring a team, including Jens Andersson as design director. Unfortunately, that game fell apart in negotiations. Todd Howard's Indiana Jones game would finally come to fruition 15 years later with The Great Circle, a story that he personally ideated around the idea of the Great Circle of mysterious places around the world.
Okay.
Along with the announcement of the game was the call-out of the developer. My favorite studio, Machine Games.
Oh, that's the people who did Wolfenstein.
Oh, yes, these are the brilliant minds behind the most recent Wolfenstein games, the games that changed my life.
So this is the reason why we haven't gotten Wolfenstein 3.
This is where I have issues. I was catatonic after playing The New Order.
Right.
And I cannot emphasize enough, that's not in my personality. That was strange. That was an out-of-body experience. I think I cried after I came out of the fugue state I was in.
Yes. And if this is your first time, we have covered both of those games.
They're so good. And we've also done The Old Blood, which is a surprise zombie game.
Yeah.
It's not. I just don't know how to read. Anyway, so the Wolfenstein games, they come from Machine Games. It's fantastic. And logistically, this makes a lot of sense because shooting, stabbing, and strangling Nazis while on a wild adventure is the bread and butter of Machine Games and Indiana Jones. It's a match made in heaven. So this was Todd Howard's perfect partner for this project, and the talent speaks for themselves. One member of that team is design director Jens Andersson.
Oh.
He came back around.
Hey, you know what? To not lose the job after 15 years.
They kept the seat warm. Isn't that cool? Machine Games had developed the Wolfenstein games on the id engines through their relationship with id Software. Going into the Great Circle, Machine Games utilized a modified version of the id engine they called Motor, powered by ID Tech. So it's just cute. Like Machine Games, this is the motor.
Oh, okay, I get that. That's cool.
They're so cute. And to date, the Great Circle is the only game utilizing the Motor engine that we know of.
Okay. I mean, I was going to say probably future sequels and stuff.
Give us another Wolfenstein now. The original composer of the Indiana Jones movies is John Williams.
Yes.
A legendary composer who is well into his 90s.
Who we've seen in concert.
John Williams was born in 1932, which predates the timeline for this franchise.
Oh my god. Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Oh, that's wild to imagine.
He lived through the Great Circle.
Yeah.
This game's composer is Gordy Hobb, who recorded his music in the iconic Abbey Road Studios, which are the same studios where John Williams recorded the original score for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I mean, Abbey Road Studios in general is legendary.
Oh, right, the Beatles.
Yeah, their album titled Abbey Road.
And pictured at Abbey Road.
Right.
I've done the picture. Have you done it?
I have not, no.
That's so embarrassing.
Oh, thanks. No, I did. I went to fucking platform 9 3/4 instead.
Oh. We're people of culture, obviously.
Yep.
Now, this project particularly hit home for composer Gordy Hobb. His very first video game composition project was 2009's Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. He got to come back too.
That's so great. Like, honestly, the fact that it was just kind of put on hold.
So their composer, their design director, and Todd Howard were all working on Indiana Jones video game projects in 2009.
Like, we had the right team, just not the right technology.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's great.
A lot of the team, like to our point, are natural fits but some fought tooth and nail to get their spots. Famously, Todd Howard did a Zoom call with all-star gaming performer Troy Baker and specifically said these words, "I do not want you to be Indiana Jones."
Poor Troy Baker. First off, like, he's in every damn game this season, I swear to God.
He was in last week's too, right?
He was in last week's,
Okay.
yeah. Which is funny, because in that one, he didn't think he was right for the job. This one, his boss is saying, "You're not right for the job."
He works a lot, but it's always an uphill battle to snag that role. So, with that being said, Troy Baker's like, "Hey man, great time talking to you. This is a fun conversation." But he did give him a list of performers he believed could do the role.
Oh, wow. That's really awesome of him to, like, really, like, try to boost other performers.
Fully, kind of people that talk sweet behind your back, best kind of people.
Yeah.
The Machine Games team auditioned hundreds of performers and would narrow people's recordings down by doing blind listens to see whose performance fit Indiana Jones the best.
So just blind listens of the voice.
Yeah, like probably over Indiana Jones footage to be like, okay, which one really feels like it in the atmosphere?
Damn.
Every single time. And I swear to God, every single time, Troy Baker's take on Indiana Jones was the winner. Every fucking time. Can you imagine Todd Howard being like, "Run it again," and you're on like take 45 and you're like, "It's fucking Troy, dude."
Yeah.
And he's like, "It will never be Troy."
He's the one that keeps selecting Troy's
Yeah.
every time.
He's like, "Well, number 3 was great." They're like, "It's still Troy Baker, my guy." He does one that he's like, "I hate them all." They're like, "We didn't put Troy in this group, so I'm sorry."
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Because you know Disney probably has like a standard person that they use as like the voice of Indiana Jones when they need to like do advertising and shit, you know?
Totally. Or like in the park if they have to update
In the
anything
ride,
like that.
shit like that. Yeah, you'd imagine they'd use somebody like that. But also, this is a much bigger project. You need to be like locked in.
Yeah, this isn't doing just VO. He has to
No.
really be Indiana Jones. So, begrudgingly, tail between his fucking legs, Todd Howard did offer the role to Troy Baker after making him audition multiple times.
He's like, "Fine, god damn,
He
you're
read
good."
half the fucking script and he's like, "Okay, you can have it." Now, there was a point, and this piggybacks off of last week's episode, where Troy Baker did try to turn the role down.
Really?
For someone who works as much as he does,
He
again,
keeps trying to turn down the most iconic characters.
he said that it was such a massive undertaking. He was really intimidated by it. But the thing that got him to sign on was seeing how high tech and precise the mocap is with Machine Games.
Oh, yeah, they are beautiful games.
Oh my God, he saw all their tech. He saw how they direct. He kind of sat in on a session to be like, "Let me see how you perceive everything and how you build stuff." And he's like, "No, this shit's fucking awesome."
And this dude knows mocap.
Oh yeah, which is foreshadowing for later this season, I guess. The cast also includes David Shaughnessy as Dr. Jones's longtime friend and colleague Marcus Brody.
Oh, I love Brody. He's such a great character.
Isn't he wonderful? Alessandra Mastronardi as Gina, a journalist, and German actor Marius Gavrilis, I apologize if I fucked that up, as the big bad guy.
Oh, so Germans are the bad guys again.
Again, there's a reason why Machine Games was on the short list. Have they worked with these assets before? Yes. Did we just open up the old Wolfenstein files and update them? Yes.
Got it.
Run. Marius actually thought he was auditioning for the next Wolfenstein game. He probably saw an @Machine Games email hidden in the CC deck or something and was like, "I know what we're doing."
Which is crazy because, like, you would get really excited for Wolfenstein.
Oh my God, entirely. And like, this is such a reasonable thing. He's like, if I'm doing a video game and it's about Nazis,
Right.
it's probably fucking Machine Games. They're probably doing this. But he eventually was told that it's an Indiana Jones game, and he was beyond excited.
Right. Like, you get floored at that because at this point in video games, it's not like in 2009.
Yeah.
They're cinematic experiences.
Entirely. And this much farther out, he's probably played those Wolfenstein games and was like, "Holy shit, these are amazing."
Yeah, totally.
So your guys are doing Indiana Jones. And he said if he knew it was an Indiana Jones game from the jump, he's scared he would have fucked it up. So
Okay, his nerves would have gotten to him.
yeah. Now, interestingly, Marius is also a massive gaming talent in German VO work.
Okay, good.
He's the German Sam Porter Bridges from Death Stranding.
Wow.
He's the German Batman in Gotham Knights.
Oh my god.
And he's the German Venom in Spider-Man 2.
Holy shit, he's got so many cool fucking credits.
And he's not the only Venom in this cast.
Wait, really?
Because this title is also the final video game performance from one of the most iconic Scream Kings on Earth, the incomparable Tony Todd.
No.
Tony Todd sadly passed away from stomach cancer in November of 2024,
Yeah.
about a month before the release of The Great Circle.
Oh my God. I mean, he's a legend.
He has several posthumous releases of his work, including this game and 2025's Final Destination Bloodlines.
Which was actually really good.
Oh my God, you know I love these movies.
Yeah, no, and like, I'm not even a big fan of that franchise, but that was a solid entry.
Entirely. And in Final Destination Bloodlines, Tony Todd addresses both his character in the movie and the audience, saying, "I intend to enjoy the time I have left, and I suggest you do the same. Life is precious. Enjoy every second."
Oh, he improv that too, didn't he?
He did. It was off the dome. And both this game and Final Destination Bloodlines are dedicated to Tony Todd.
Beautiful, as they should be.
Now, Tony Todd is a well-deserving performing icon who brings power and nuance to every role, obviously including this one, even towards the end of his life cycle. The Machine Games casting team saw a bunch of actors for the role Tony Todd got, and genuinely were like, literally no one feels good.
Right.
I hate this. And they eventually started saying, this sucks. Why can't we just get Tony Todd?
Right.
And then they all looked around and went, have we asked if Tony Todd will do this?
Really?
Yeah. Much to Machine Games' relief, Tony Todd was available and soon joined the cast.
The fact that he worked up until the end.
Oh my God. Oh, the unbelievable heart and amount of talent in that man is insane. The full cast had their first table read on Zoom to accommodate all the actors being all over the world and respect the pandemic travel guidelines at the time of production. During the first table read, Troy Baker showed up with his Zoom name changed to Indiana Jones.
Oh my God.
He went into the settings, Tom.
This guy.
And was
like...
it gets more. I'm not going to say good or bad, but it gets more.
This is why I like and dislike him at the same time sometimes. Like, he tried to give up the part, but then he went all in on it.
He was wearing the hat and had a prop whip on hand for emphasis.
At the same time, I'd probably do the same fucking thing if I got cast as Indiana Jones.
I mean, it's embarrassing if you show up in a hoodie, right? Like, oh, you're not taking this seriously? We have both the German and American Venom here, and you're not going to bring the thunder? Fuck you.
Oh, that's so great.
That's ridiculous. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was released for PC and Xbox Series XS on December 9th, 2024 as a timed exclusive. A few months after it was released, it was announced that the game would be coming out on PlayStation 5. This was announced with a video of Troy Baker and Nolan North in a live-action sketch.
Like, to bring them back together, honestly.
So, okay, we're going to have a little bit of tea, right?
Let's get into it.
So Nolan North, obviously very famous for being Nathan Drake in Uncharted, who is Indiana Jones.
Yeah, basically.
So, on the character scope alone for their body work, that's beautiful. Now, internally, they used to host a show called Retro Replay.
Yeah.
Which is now with a group called Couch Soup, which is a fantastic news source. I will give you that.
I wonder why you would say something so great about couchsoup.com.
I think it's a really great thing to be at couchsoup.com.
Andrea is a writer.
Shut up. You're so embarrassing. So there you go through some stuff, and the channel eventually ends and they part ways, and Nolan keeps doing some stuff with Retro Replay and then focuses on other stuff, and he starts working on his music, and they kind of don't get seen a lot together for a while. So people are like, man, are our dads fighting?
Yeah, our dads broke up.
Yeah, so this was a really sweet way for them to come back and be like, you guys, we just had a project that ended, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Everything's good. So they did this project together, and it was so cute, and they were both just little adventurers announcing a game coming to PlayStation.
What game was that?
Are you not in this episode?
Oh, okay, so it was this one.
Yeah. But it's also, there's some symbolic torch passing, right? With Nathan Drake, the king of PlayStation adventure games, handing the torch over to Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation.
Yeah,
like,
that's really great.
It felt good. I like it. And it's also been announced that the game is coming to the Switch 2 in 2026.
Holy shit, really?
Yep.
I can't believe it can handle that.
I don't really understand the Switch 2.
I don't think anybody does. I don't know anybody that has it yet.
I'm waiting for it to make sense, but for right now, I'm totally fine with my regular Switch. In September of 2025, a DLC was released called The Order of Giants, which can be played within the main campaign and is kind of similar to like Iki Island and Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
I did record a Patreon episode for The Order of Giants, and that's going to be up the day after this is posted for our Patreon members.
Yes, it is.
I will genuinely take any excuse to binge the Indiana Jones franchise. And I want to
Again, up to the third one.
Yeah, obviously. And to be very clear, like, we didn't stream them. We own them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have the physical media. I love Indiana Jones.
We're not big on physical media either. We only have like 30 movies.
Not even, Tom. You know, some of those are just Switch games that ended up in the wrong pile. We have a good dozen, baker's dozen of, like, sealed videos.
Yeah, that's true.
Videos. How fucking... I'm from the 1900s. Blu-rays. Jesus. Overall, people really enjoy this game, getting between 8 to 9 out of 10 from most reviewers. By January of 2025, it had clocked over 4 million players. Many were through Game Pass at the time, so just caveat, but still, for 4 million players in less than a month after a timed exclusive release is bananas.
Outrageous, but it's also Indiana Jones, so, like, I get it.
Yeah, you're not going to be like, dumb.
Yeah, it's not new IP, but it's new IP in the sense of a video game.
There is no such thing as new IP.
Yeah, true.
Except for K-pop Demon Hunters. The best movie of all time.
Oh my god.
Next to The Departed. And perhaps, most impressively of all, Harrison Ford likes Troy Baker's portrayal of Indiana Jones.
Well, he likes this guy's portrayal.
He did.
Yeah.
He said Troy did a great job, and if he had known he would do such a good job, he would have just done it his goddamn self. And this kind of praise is something literally none of us can ever compare to.
That's true. None of us will ever hear that from Harrison Ford. So.
Except for my cousin who got a hug from Harrison Ford on stage when she won an Oscar a few years ago.
For Best Picture.
Please don't dox me. The game has already won a slew of DICE awards, Navigator awards, and I'm sure is going to do great at the Game Awards. But, Tom, I'm going to look in your eyes when I say this.
Okay.
Let's get this boulder rolling.
Oh my god.
This is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
And apparently I'm the Great Circle.
The game opens with Indiana Jones in the Peruvian jungle in 1936. He's putting on his famous fedora and wiping his brow. Behind him is Alfred Molina. Famously, this game opens the same way the Indiana Jones franchise opens, with the treasure hunt in Peru for an ancient idol.
Okay, something people know.
Yeah, very familiar, which is smart for a tutorial, because you're like, I know how this is going to go.
Yeah,
This
I like
movie's
that.
older than me.
That's really smart.
If you're going to do something like this, you might as well take advantage of the content.
As long as they don't rehash the entire movie.
Well, this part of the game is a nearly shot-for-shot remake, save for the player adjusting the camera.
I mean, that's fine.
Sure.
Is it? I didn't play it.
It's fine. It's nice to get to know the mechanics because, like I mentioned, this is a different engine than the Wolfenstein games are on.
Okay.
And you approach combat and exploring the world differently than BJ Blazkowicz does. BJ Blazkowicz is technically a scientific monster, but like in the really hot way, how we're all into Frankenstein right now. Like bolts around the neck, come and get it. But Indiana Jones kind of dropped out of the army.
Right.
At one point. He's done some service. That's part of his lore, but like he's not a trained killer.
Right.
He's a guy who can punch in a bar fight, but he's mostly a professor with sweaters.
That's fair.
So it's different. The setting is picture perfect, but the full surround sound, thoughtfully placed to engage your lizard brain, and subtle score setting the scene, the auditory experience is so much more immersive than just watching the scene.
Oh, that's great.
This is a very famous sequence, which I'll paraphrase a bit for brevity. You've all had the last 44 years to catch up on one of the most famous movies of all time.
That's on you at this point.
And the whole point of this show is spoilers. Indiana Jones and two guides navigate the jungle looking for a temple. One gets scared off, the other is Alfred Molina. Indiana Jones and Alfred Molina find the temple, but it's booby-trapped.
Just calling him Alfred Molina.
I'm not going to look up his name. Was it easy? Yes. Were the captions on with the name? Yes. Did I write it down? No. I saw Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and Doc Ock find the temple, but it's booby-trapped. Indy finds the idol and is careful to replace it with a bag of sand of equal weight, so as to not set off more booby traps. This does not work, and a booby trap is set off. This is very simple when you break it down. I feel like I'm being sarcastic. This is a fantastic piece of film.
It really is.
I'm just being an asshole. The temple begins to collapse, and Alfred Molina tries to leave Indiana Jones for dead. But he's Indiana Jones, and he's got like a shit ton more movies to do, so he makes it out with the idol. Alfred Molina is killed by a booby trap.
Yep.
And then, the greatest thing ever happens. And a boulder is released, and Indiana Jones runs from it down a dark cavern. And this is where we start to alter. As he runs, he hears the voices of Marion, his girlfriend from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and recently, ex-fiance, yelling at him.
Okay, so this is post Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Professor Indiana Jones wakes up at night, a year later in his office at Marshall College. It's a dark and rainy night, and he and a family friend turned colleague, Dr. Marcus Brody, have been drinking.
Okay.
Marcus is passed out cold in Indiana's office, muttering to himself about getting lost in his own library. And Indy calls him a lightweight. They clearly had too many drinks and passed out here and figures, you know what, they're probably alone, it's so late. And then, Indy notices a shadow move past them outside his office. He goes to investigate the dark school and sees a mess has been made. Shit is trashed, there's books and debris everywhere. Indy says, someone's getting expelled. I'm not going to do the voice, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, yeah, please don't.
Someone's getting expelled tonight. Indy follows the path of destruction to the archaeology department's library. He notices he's following really big footprints. The library has a hall dedicated to exhibiting some historical items in big glass cases. Indy sees some of the displays have been opened. He sees a stranger in the next room of the library and goes to see who it is. Inside, there's a man in a dark cloak with his arms outstretched, praying towards some artifacts from Egypt. He's facing away from Indy. Indy calls out, "Okay, pal, you can't sleep here." But, like, he's closing up the bar.
Yeah, and it's not like this is like an unhoused person.
The cloaked man stands up and is just shy of 8 feet tall.
Oh my god.
And we see Tony Todd turn to tower over Indiana Jones.
Holy shit, that would be so intimidating.
Tony Todd could be 4'2", and I'd be like, Jesus Christ, that voice. Tony Todd plays Locust, a massive man who speaks a dead tongue. He stops praying and turns to Indy, slowly. Indy wags his finger and says, "Who the hell are you?" Which is so funny for him to wag his finger at a man who's 8 feet tall.
Yeah, but Indiana Jones isn't afraid of fucking anyone.
He is 6'1", though. As Locust approaches him, they begin to fight, and Locust is massive and focused with his strikes.
Oh.
He starts choking Indy out and throws him across the floor. There's a big pendant around Locust's neck that will be important later. Indy gets up and finishes the fight tutorial just as Locust knocks him the fuck out. Locust sighs at Indy and leaves the school. Troy Baker has said that Tony Todd was not afraid to get physical on set. Which makes me giggle.
That would be so fucking scary. Even this cancer-ridden man being physical with me on set, I would be fucking horrified.
It's just like, oh no, he's really gonna kill me, isn't he? The next morning, that's a fucking Candyman.
Yeah.
Like, you're like a little convinced bees are gonna come out of him, right?
He's a literal horror icon in 2 different franchises.
Oh, he's so fucking cool. The next morning, Marcus wakes Indy up and asks what happened. Indy stands up, realizing he'd been in the library all night. He asks where the giant went, which confuses Marcus, who again was asleep for all of this.
There was a giant? How drunk are you?
Indy explains a giant was here who spoke Latin and broke into the museum and he took something. They look around the exhibits and realize the only artifact that was missing is a cat mummy from a recent Siwa expedition. Siwa is an area in Egypt where Indy went on a last-minute expedition to retrieve that exact cat mummy.
I was really hoping you weren't meaning JoJo.
We do not invoke JoJo Siwa's name in this house. It happened to be a week before he and Marion were supposed to be married. And when he got home from Egypt, she wasn't home anymore.
Oh.
All this happened about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
So this is Indiana Jones fresh off of a major breakup.
Yeah.
Which that sucks. That sucks so bad.
It does, yeah.
Indy doesn't know why the giant took the cat mummy, and Marcus says the thief may have left a clue. Indy finds the pendant the giant was wearing, like I mentioned, for plot reasons, and he and Marcus jump to look at the markings on it. Indy says it looks Catholic, and when Marcus takes a closer look, he says, "Oh, that's the sigil of the Vatican's secret archive."
Ooh.
This perks Indy up, and he says, "Oh my god, this isn't just about a cat mummy. I need my classes covered, so I'm gonna go to the Vatican now."
He's off to the Vatican?
He's just immediately, he gets up, grabs a suitcase, he is packing before he's gotten his freshest breath.
Oh my god, this just turned into a Dan Brown book.
What is Indiana Jones if not a fun Dan Brown?
The Da Vinci Code.
Inside his suitcase, there's a leather-bound notebook with a ribbon tied around it. Marcus goes, "Oh my god, someone left you a gift. I wonder how long that's been in there. And Indy realizes this is his backup office suitcase. He hasn't opened this one in a year. Indy's scared to reach for it. He's scared to see who the gift is from, but he undoes the ribbon, and the first page of the notebook says, "For your next adventure, Marion."
Oh.
Marcus asks who it's from, and Indy says, "It doesn't say." Indy packs his suitcase and makes sure to pack a vinyl record in his suitcase for a friend that he's hoping to see. Well, Marcus tries to bond with Indy and says he can confide in him about Marion, like breakups are hard. You know, he actually even says Marion called him 2 months ago and she was frustrated with Indy.
Oh.
And like Marcus picks now
To say this?
to say all this shit. And again, this is 5 weeks after the breakup. And he's like, by the way, your girl called me 2 months ago, right? Like while you were leaving her to go look for the dead cat mummy that just got stolen. Anyway, she's pissed. And she says, you're always leaving and you're always putting yourself in danger and living in the past. And Indy just tells him she had her mind made up.
But here's the thing, Marion. You knew who you were getting involved with.
Here's the thing, Marcus. You should tell your friend if their partner calls you.
Yeah, that part too. That is, and also like back then, a phone call was a big fucking deal.
Oh, it's like rolling up on someone. Like,
yeah, that isn't something that you had in your back pocket. You had to go to a location with a telephone to call somebody.
You had to admit to an operator you wanted to talk to someone.
Yeah, there's a record that you called this person.
Paper trail aside, Marcus shifts gears and says, now why would the Vatican want your cat mummy? Indy turns and tells him, exactly! Not an answer.
Let's just change the subject.
There's only one way to find out. Marcus tells him, hey man, you know your job is professor, right? It is the middle of midterms. You can't leave your job. And Indy goes, yeah, I can.
Yeah, he really can. They're not going to fire him. He's Indiana Jones.
Marcus hands Indy his hat and tells him, you can't just run away from your problems, Indiana. Indy takes his hat, slides it on his head, and says, watch me. Indy leaves Marcus alone in the Marshall College offices as he flies off to Rome. We get the plane flying across the map following a red travel path line.
Love that.
Along the way, Indy reaches out to Father Antonio, a friend of his in the Vatican. Father Antonio sends him a telegram telling him that the Vatican is not safe and, wink wink, subtlety is a virtue. Stop. Indy arrives in Rome and makes it to Castle Sant'Angelo. Again, I've done way too many European episodes this season. I'm so bad with pronunciation, and I'm sorry.
Honestly, that's another one of those accidental tropes we did this season. I think every episode doesn't technically take place in the United States.
Or at least has some European scenes.
Yeah.
We're daydreaming about traveling, guys, and we're sorry. So he's just outside of Vatican City. This area is heavily guarded by Italian fascists. Now, in the game right now, it's 1937, which is historically known as a period of, I'm not being flippant, fascist Italy.
Oh, that's a terrible time.
The National Fascist Party ruled Italy from 1922 to 1943 under dictator Mussolini. You've heard of him. Here in history, Italy was just a few years shy of joining the axis of power with Germany to promote fascism.
Ugh.
They lost that war, but that's skipping ahead.
Different story.
Indy sneaks through Castle Sant'Angelo, doing what you do best in any machine games title, beating the shit out of fascists.
Hell yeah.
Indy will steal money from their areas and say, fascists shouldn't be trusted with money. Which, let BJ have that line too. Come on.
Right.
That's so good.
I wonder how many were throwaway lines that they didn't use in Wolfenstein. They're like, yes, we can finally use these ones.
This was too soft for BJ, but honestly, for the Disney guy, this is fine.
This is great.
Indy navigates deeper into the castle until he runs into Father Antonio. Father Antonio is a bit older than Indy and is very warm. He rushes Indy, saying they have to hurry. He saw Father Ventura with a fascist on his way to the Castello.
Not a fascist.
Baby, they're everywhere. Father Ventura is a friend of Mussolini, who basically runs the Vatican now that the Pope has fallen ill. Father Antonio leads Indy to a walkway underground through the castle and into the Vatican. Because Father Ventura let all the fascists into the Vatican, it's harder to get people in and out, and sometimes even through the city. While they sneak, they hear Father Ventura talking to a fascist about making sure Mussolini's next visit is comfortable for him, since he and his guests are arriving tomorrow.
Mm,
I'm trying to emphasize that so you know it's special.
yes.
Indy asks about Father Ventura's special guests, but Father Antonio doesn't know anything about who's coming. They cross out of the castle, and once safe, Father Antonio hugs Indy, saying, "Oh, we made it, Henri." Indy says he hasn't heard that name in a long time. Like he's a cowboy.
Right.
These two catch up, and they realize they haven't seen each other in 19 years. Indy hands Father Antonio the record he brought from America, saying, "This is the latest humdinger out of New York City." Father Antonio is nearly in tears at this, pressing his thumbs into the record to confirm it's real. He thanks Indy very graciously and offers Indy a place to rest. The next morning, Indy wakes up in Father Antonio's office, and Father Antonio is dancing at the jazz record playing.
Oh, because one of the first things fascists do.
They limit media.
Yep.
He says, "Buongiorno! This American music is outstanding. How do they play like that?" He's so cute. I love this man.
I love him so much.
There's some yelling in the square downtown, and it appears the fascists are super on edge today. Indy tells Father Antonio he's looking for a tall fellow, which is a big understatement, buddy.
Yeah, saying a tall fellow is really understating it. Like, I'm looking for a giant. Like, you'd notice him.
You do have to ease into that conversation, I
Yeah,
guess.
he's 8 feet tall.
Father Antonio says, "Well, I know a chef that's very tall." Indy explains that the very tall thief stole a cat mummy from his college in America and shows Father Antonio the pendant the giant left behind. Father Antonio goes to the window to inspect the pendant in the sunlight. He says it looks like the Vatican's secret archive symbol, but something is different about it. He's just not sure what. Father Antonio says, "I don't know about any giants, but Father Crescenzo has claimed to have seen secret messages inscribed in the tallest buildings of the Vatican." Father Crescenzo claimed that the messages referenced a group of giants he called the fallen angels hidden in the holy city.
A group of giants.
But, caveat, that father is an absolute lunatic.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that Father Antonio's like, but if this is a bad lead, this guy fucking sucks, okay?
We do have a couple priests that are Looney Tunes, just to give you a heads up.
Father Antonio gets Indy set up with some priest robes so he can blend in. He then has a memory strike, and Father Antonio says he's seen that symbol on the pendant before, in the conservation workshop in the library. Indy says, okay, so that's a lead worth following.
Yeah.
Father Antonio reminds Indy to be careful out in the city. And behind him, Father Ventura has not only snuck into this office, but snuck up behind him to say, "Oh, look, you made a little friend." What a fucking creep.
That is such a creepy way to do that, too.
Indy introduces himself as Father Gallagher from Boston.
From Boston?
Yeah.
He doesn't even bother doing a Boston accent, does he?
Oh, no, he's a asshole, but he's not that bad.
Okay. I'd love to hear Indy doing a Boston accent. Just to play the part.
Left my whip in the car. I can't do it clearly.
My whip in the car.
Please stop making me do accents. The fascists are going to take this away. Father Antonio hurries to put the jazz record away. Father Ventura asks Indy if he's here to help Father Antonio. He says Father Antonio is going deaf from an old war wound. And Indy says he's just there to serve God. Father Ventura goes to Father Antonio and tells him he's responsible for Father Gallagher. Father Ventura looks at the record and then huffs and leaves the office. Father Antonio breathes a heavy relief and tells Indy, good luck. When I found out that Father Antonio was going deaf, I almost was like,
oh,
how dare you?
They're just making him tragic. This sucks.
Fully. Father Antonio's office is in the library, so we might as well start looking here for that symbol on the pendant. In the conservation workshop, Indy finds a hole in the wall that would fit the pendant. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Go for it.
And sticks the pendant in and turns it. A door opens. From behind him, Father Antonio is holding a candle and asks, ooh, what have you found? He really hauled his ass downstairs so fast, but made it just in time. And Indy tells him, I think I found a secret entrance. Father Antonio is so excited about a secret entrance. He's like, a secret entrance in my library? Right in front of my salad? Indy, sorry. Indy grabs a candle for himself and they head downstairs. The pathway goes down and deep and is quite narrow. Father Antonio is mesmerized. He can't believe the secret was under his office the whole time. Indy says it's been abandoned for centuries based on the dust. They get down to a room that Father Antonio says looks like an alchemist's lab. They find a skeleton in front of a letter from 1578. Father Antonio immediately says a prayer for whoever that poor soul is. The poor soul had a map of where the inscriptions are through the Vatican. Father Antonio asks Indy to take photos of the inscriptions so they can study them together. Indy doesn't have a camera, but Father Antonio knows a guy who can get him one. Father Antonio heads back up to his office so he can plan a funeral for the skeleton they found. Like, this man is so precious and sweet.
I love that.
He found loose bones and said, "Oh, I must bless him. We must make sure he's okay."
Just got to secure his place in the afterlife.
Absolutely. Like, what a doll. Indy heads up and up and up the secret stairs and out to Vatican City. The city is tricky because the fascists have arbitrarily blocked off paths in and out through the city. Indy dresses like a priest and then uses his whip to climb around and get through the blocked areas. The Nazis are suspicious of Indy when he's dressed as a priest because they're like, that dude does not look like he prays.
He sticks out so much.
And they are very angry when he's not dressed as a priest, so there is some stealth and deception in the adventure when it comes to, like, what you wear.
Oh, okay.
Indy goes out and buys a camera and has a nice stroll through the Vatican City. He follows the skeleton map of the secret markings and takes photos at each one. If you fuck up where to take the photo, Indy will say shit like, "Ugh, I need a better angle." Or just, like, groan and say something passive-aggressive about your photography to make you take the shot again, which we don't need to be that immersed.
Do you have a limited number of film?
No.
No?
That's not an issue.
Oh my god, back then it absolutely was an issue.
Yeah, but for
That's
us,
the problem.
in our world, no. He's
No.
just being rude about the fact that I didn't zoom in right.
Okay.
Goddamn. Indy does the first round of photos and goes to study them with Father Antonio. They realize someone carved Latin into the markings that talk about a door to the fallen angel under the monument of a crusade that did not happen. And Indy's like, "Oh my god, well, it's obviously the papal bull, Nicholas V. That's his tower. Duh."
Come on, everybody knows that.
Really basic shit, right? He figures the giant's tomb lies under the tower of Nicholas V. And Father Antonio points out some Latin saying something about blood, and Indy stands saying, "I'm gonna need some blood." Like, he's so just 0 to 60 on everything. Father Antonio, ride or die, stands and goes to his cabinet, which made me nervous.
Does he have a cabinet just full of blood?
He might be a vampire. He pulls out a bottle of wine and says, "The blood of Christ," and he blesses the bottle.
Got it. Transubstantiation. That makes a lot less sense.
Yeah, I really thought he had, like, vials of blood.
Which would make more sense, honestly.
For a half second, I'm like, this jazz-loving vampire. I just saw Sinners. I love this movie. Nah. He blesses the bottle in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and hands it to Indy, who says, "Yeah, amen."
You have to believe that, though. That's the thing.
We know he believes by the third movie.
I guess it is in the Vatican, so it's just kind of like an understanding of belief at that point.
Yeah, their tap water's holy.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Indy pockets the bottle and heads to the Tower of Nicholas V to investigate. The tower is across town and under some fascist watch, so Indy gets in and finds a small chapel in the tower, like, dodging and weaving. He's hiding. At the front of the chapel is an offering bowl at a table, and behind it on the wall, a stone carving. Indy dumps his blessed bottle into the offering bowl, and the stone carving reveals a secret path.
Okay, it worked.
Why are you disappointed?
I want real blood.
Jesus Christ. The path leads to a long spiral staircase in a dark secret of the underbelly of the holy city, a necropolis. The whole place is a burial site for ancient Romans. Indy goes deeper and finds a chamber with a mausoleum, the tomb of the warrior giant. He calls it magnificent. The tomb has a parchment from the First Crusade that points Indy to the Fountain of Confession, his next goal in following the unraveling mystery. Then, some Looney Tunes ass shit happens.
Oh.
Indy is studying the parchment, and the walls begin to shake. A man driving a bulldozer bursts in from the ceiling and looks down at Indy at the ancient burial site at the tomb of the warrior giant and is like, "Oh no."
Did you say a bulldozer through the ceiling?
Yeah.
That's the most insane thing.
Yeah, he's underground, so it's coming down.
Yeah, oh my god.
There's some turns in this where you're like, that's silly. Indy gives the man a gentle wave before the man jumps out of the bulldozer, and the bulldozer itself falls through, destroying the final resting place of the warrior giant. This collapse destroys the path that Indy took to get here, and he says, "Great, I'll just find another way out." Like, he's not even pressed that some random-ass construction worker destroyed this 1,000-year-old burial site. He's just like, Oh man, now I gotta make a left turn.
Right, yeah, just get a ladder.
Who put you in charge of anything? The fuck? As he navigates, Indy hears fascists approaching, sent to investigate all the noise happening down here. Indy uses ancient artifacts and loose sticks that he finds down here in the ancient tombs to knock out whoever the fuck fascist is following him, which is always fun. He gets out of the tombs and emerges into the streets of the Vatican. He sees a nun watching him and then turn to crack the lock to a door and enter a building.
Mm?
Indy knows fuckery when he sees it, and he says out loud, "What are you up to?" He takes this as an invitation to follow this single woman, which I'm going to say, don't do that.
I hate to say it, but what woman isn't kind of used to that?
Oh, bummer. Anyway, he enters the building that she broke her way into. He finds her looking out over a patio into the streets, and he introduces himself as Father Gallagher and asks if spying on people is part of her daily nun routine. The nun is a younger Italian woman with big eyes. She says she was just bird watching. She looks up as a big-ass Zeppelin, a massive blimp, flies over the city.
Oh no.
Indy looks up at it with her and says, "That's a hell of a bird."
Probably not foreshadowing.
He takes her binoculars and watches as the blimp approaches the Vatican building and opens a walkway. Indy sees Father Ventura, and a fascist welcomes some visitors, a German man with round glasses, and a few additional fascist cronies behind him. The nun gets annoyed he just stole her property. Indy says the man who got off the Zeppelin is Emmerich Voss, a German archaeologist. He's the leader of the Nazi occult research program.
So he's like the Nazi version of Indiana Jones?
Hey, Tom. How does every superhero
origin
movie Just give me a general overview of how you kick off a beloved franchise with a long-standing character people adore.
Yeah.
Give me screenwriting 101. Hit me.
You make them go after themselves. Okay, a mirror of themselves. All right.
It's probably not foreshadowing. The nun asks Father Gallagher how he knows German archaeologists from, a half a mile away. And Indy says, "The Lord revealeth his secret unto his servants."
Oh my god.
And the nun asks, "Oh, is that so? Like, are you flirting or are you robbing her?"
Yeah.
This is getting weird. Indy puts the binoculars back up to his eyes, and the nun pulls his notebook off of him.
Ooh.
She pulls out his ID and reads it, and him to filth. She says, "Oh, okay, Dr. Indiana Jones, Professor, Archaeology Department, Marshall College, Bedford, Connecticut."
Oh, she was not always a nun.
Indy says, "Yeah, okay, you ain't no nun, sweetheart. I may not be a priest, but I'm pretty sure stealing is a straight no-hitter with the 10 Commandments. Not entirely certain what the rules are for a reporter, though."
Oh.
The nun is shocked and says, "Okay, how do you know?" And the not nun gives it up and says, "Yeah, you got me. I'm an investigative journalist. I'm looking into the disappearance of someone very dear to me." She tells Indy that 6 months ago, a woman was abducted, and she thinks Emmerich Voss is responsible. The journalist hands Indy a picture, and he recognizes the woman in it. He says that's Dr. Laura Lombardi. She's one of the world's leading experts in ancient languages. The journalist is surprised Indy knows who that woman is, and she says, "Well, that's my sister. I'm Gina Lombardi. Now what's your business here?" Indy hands the picture back to Gina and tells her, "I'm looking for a cat."
This woman just confessed to my sister's gone missing.
The Nazis have taken my sister.
Yeah. I've tracked her across the globe. I've gone undercover as this nun.
I've snuck into the Vatican.
But you're looking for a cat. All right.
Also, he really gives her the 1-2 about stealing. The first thing he did was snatch her binoculars out of her hands. Gina is annoyed that he just said, "I'm here looking for a cat."
As anybody should be after all of that.
Indy does explain that it's a cat mummy that was stolen by a giant from the Vatican. So,
Okay, you're a crazy person.
But the point of him being here is that he needs to know why the giant stole the cat. She calls him, what I think is an understatement, profoundly strange.
Yes.
Gina strikes a deal, saying if she finds anything interesting, she'll share with him, and vice versa, right? He agrees to her terms and takes his ID and notebook back.
How she took this man seriously is beyond me.
Immediately, she's like, "This is not a strong impression." She says this is good, and she'll see him around, and then calls him Strambo, which essentially means weirdo in Italian. Gina leaves and Indy heads back into the library. Indy brings the parchment he found to Father Antonio, and they deduce it's concerning a secret order here in the Vatican. Father Antonio says it's an astounding find. Indy tells him he's going to go to the Fountain of Confession, and Father Antonio warns him it may be a rabbit hole, but wishes him well. This is the first act of the game, Father Antonio. You're nailing it. On the way, Indy runs into Gina in the Sistine Chapel. She tells him she may have a lead on the cat mummy. Her Vatican contact, who helped her sneak in and is, helping her out in general, was looking into Marshall College to see if the Vatican had been watching any activity there or targeting it for any reason. And she's heading there now. And he's like, fuck yeah, let's see if they've been spying on me. That's actually great. And they begin to leave to meet her friend at the museum when a fascist pulls Indy aside.
Oh, no.
Gina just keeps going because she's like, nope, fuck that. But Indy gets fully grabbed and kind of like pulled over. Indy's startled, but the fascist says, oh my God, are you American? I love Americans. Let me do a confession with you, Father. Indy forgot he was a priest, looks down and is like, shit.
Oh, right. I got to do those things.
And he tells him, no. God forgives you. You're good. God loves you. But the fascist pulls Indy into a confession booth. The fascist then tells Indy, who again is not a priest,
right,
that he's been fucking his mother-in-law, and now both his wife and mother-in-law are pregnant with his babies.
Oh my God, that is some drama, honestly. I can't believe Indy didn't pull out some popcorn, start eating it, and go tell me more.
But Indy's here for his lost cat, so he has to wrap this shit up. And he's also, to be very clear, not trained for this.
No.
He tells him to say 3 Hail Marys and he's solid.
3 Hail Marys.
Okay, so I've made some light fun of you about how you were raised. What is fair for 3 Hail Marys and like the confession? Is there inflation? Like,
I mean, to be real, I haven't gone to confession since I was a teenager.
But is it like a couple swear words or like speeding on the highway or something?
Yeah, that kind of shit gets you 3 Hail Marys.
Not fucking your mother-in-law and your wife at the same time and getting them both pregnant, which I think happened on Shameless.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got off light. I'm telling you that.
Thank you. That's what I was going for. The fascist suspects Indy is now not a real priest because he understands the value of 1 Hail Mary, and 3 Hail Marys is not good enough to pay for the sin. Indy punches him through the confession booth, through that little like braided part where the faces go.
Yeah.
Knocks him out cold and leaves and heads out to the museum to pick up with Gina.
Wait, a single punch through that screen knocked him out cold?
Yeah.
That's an impressive punch.
Well, all the blood rushed to his... Never mind. He finds Gina near the museum, but the whole building is on lockdown, so they have to sneak inside. Thankfully, like every fucking female NPC companion, Gina is great with picking locks. She's like, Booker, catch!
I'm sure he was having some flashbacks.
Yeah. They get inside and there's fascists all over the museum, making sure that no one can appreciate the art or the history of this world. So Indy knocks them the fuck out. Fuck these guys for locking the place down. Everyone belongs in a museum.
Hell yeah. They
look for Gina's friend, but find bloody handprints where they were supposed to meet. Indy tells Gina that could be anyone's blood. Let's not make assumptions. I don't think that's helpful in this moment. Here's my thing. I love Indiana Jones. I apologize. I'm shit talking a little bit. He's frazzled. He just got dumped recently.
Yeah.
He's not at his peak. This is him escaping his feelings.
This is his eat, pray, love moment.
This is his eat, pray, love. They find Gina's friend's ID and a piece of fabric from a fascist uniform. It looks like there was a struggle. Gina finds a photo of Indy, and he is surprised. But honestly, he's not surprised enough. He literally just goes, why is there a photo of me in the Vatican? And then just moves on like that's not insane.
It is absolutely insane. Also, he's probably on a lot of radars, to be real. He's not surprised by that fact.
In the 30s, a photo is really valuable, you know?
It's true. Except for when Indiana Jones is taking them.
And then he's like, these are a dime a dozen. Girls write love me across their eyelids. I will never run out of apples. They find a ring, and Gina recognizes it as her friend's ring and starts to get really worried. She's like, all right, the blood, sure, but this is like her stuff, dude. A pack of fascists enter the room, and Gina gets spooked. They overhear the fascists talking about locking up a woman in a tower for murdering someone, and Gina dips, heading to the tower to see if her friend is there. Indy knocks out the fascists and follows Gina to the tower. Indy meets up with Gina, who says she thinks her friend is at the top of the tower for plot reasons. This tower is crawling with fascists who are, for the most part, wondering why they're questioning a nun about something, and if the lady they have captive is really a nun. Ooh. Indy gives all the fascists concussions and lets them sleep it off. The room at the top of the tower is locked, so Gina picks it, and she and Indy enter. Her friend, in a full nun fit, is tied up and being angrily questioned by a beefy-ass fascist, demanding to know her contacts. Indy beats the shit out of the beefy bootlicker, and Gina unties her friend. Gina tells her friend that Dr. Jones is in the Vatican looking for his missing cat. She hates saying this so much, too. She's like, you fucking loser make me sound crazy. Like,
it's really hard to take you seriously, Indiana Jones.
Her friend says, oh, you must love your pet, as all good men do. Like, she thinks this is endearing. She's like, oh, he's a cat guy?
Oh,
cute.
This is sweet.
He's 6'1" and a cat guy?
He's on a side quest while looking for his cat? This is amazing.
Yeah. Gina's like, fuck. I made him sound cool as shit. Dr. Jones tells her the cat has a very special place in her heart. Gina gives her friend her ring back. Gina's friend says she's not safe in Rome anymore and she has to leave. Before she goes, she tells Indy that the Vatican has been spying on you since you were digging in Siwa, you know, right when your girl left you. This is when you got dumped. Anyway, this goes high up, Dr. Jones. You must have stumbled on something of great value to them. He sighs and he's like, that's right, my girl left me. Like,
everybody knows.
Everyone across the world knows. Like, he was in Bedford, Connecticut, like, nursing his wounds. He goes to fucking, where are we? Goddamn the Vatican.
Granted, I tend to make everything everyone else's problem, so.
He's such a nightmare. I love him so much. Gina's friend hands Indy a letter authorizing a tail on him, confirming he's being spied on by the Vatican. He thanks her for the receipts, and she flees. Indy says to Gina, okay, you helped me. How can I help you? And Gina says she'll leave him a note at the Sistine Chapel, and she leaves. Indy heads to the Fountain of the Confession to follow up on the ancient parchment he found in the ancient burial ground. This place is old. The fountain is flanked by 2 big statues he has to shuffle around to solve an environmental puzzle. Gina rolls up on him, calling him Strombo again. I really like that she has a pet name immediately, too.
Yeah.
She's out of her nun fit, and in honestly a similar fit to Indy, just like a loose explorer moment. She asks if he found a hidden door, and he's like, I got this. I find hidden doors all the time. This is regular for me.
It really is, though.
It is. Like, he's not even being cavalier about it. Together, Indy and Gina move some stuff around, and the fountain does indeed have a secret door. The door reveals a spiral staircase that goes deep underground. Gina heads in, and Indy follows, telling her to please be careful. Gina tells him, my missing sister and your cat are connected somehow. And Indy's like, yeah, they definitely are. And the connection? The Nazis!
It's always the damn Nazis.
The stairs lead to a downstairs temple. There's embers under the floor, visible through a gate. Indy almost immediately falls down a booby trap into a room with ankle-deep water. This is the Chamber of Tribulations. Gina tells him to knock that shit off, which I love, and he climbs up, telling Gina that many cultures have trials to pass to become an adult. This one happens to be jumping through massive saw blades. Indy and Gina jump through and get it into another chamber. Gina says it's so big in here, and Indy offers that, you know, so big it may have been made for giants.
Oh, no.
And Gina says, hey, buddy, giants don't fucking exist.
Oh, somebody's finally going to acknowledge that?
Yeah, she's like, there's one chef in town that's really tall, but no. And he says, yeah, I keep hearing there's not giants. I think there's giants, though.
I met a guy that was 8 feet tall.
To unlock the chambers, they have to solve some puzzles and complete the trials. Well, Indy does. Gina mostly points things out while yelling at Indy to be careful.
And telling him to catch.
Yeah. Indy looks around and says, whatever this secret order is, it's strictly for the Vatican's inner circle. They've certainly made it very hard to navigate and move through. A lot of the trials also have fire involved somehow, despite us being, like, deeply underground and, like, not a lot of stuff going on. There's just fire existing. Gina does eventually ask about the cat mummy, being like, hey, man, so you came here from Connecticut. Why is this cat so special? And Indy says, actually, all of my finds are special, but only one got stolen by someone who traveled across the world, broke into my college, and fought me for it. I have to know why. And Gina kind of takes this as a trauma dump, and she's like, all right, Gotcha.
Yeah, cool. All cats are special. Like, seriously, how is she taking Indiana Jones, like, at face value at this point?
I think he's coming on strong because he's not quite sure how to handle himself right now.
It's amazing what attractive people can get away with saying, honestly.
Is this Indiana Jones on the Great Pretty Privilege?
It really is.
So, Tom, you've never really had a breakup. You go crazy.
Yeah, I get that, but still, like, the fact that everybody's just like, all right, cool. I'm looking for my sister. We'll find your cat.
At least leading with sister is the appropriate thing, and then being like, and your little cat, Strombo.
Yeah.
Indy passes all of the trials down here, unlocking a secret monastery deep in the chambers. Gina says it all looks so old, and Indy figures it's from the 6th century. Indy pokes around, and Gina says, hey, wait, give me a second. All of the candles are lit. If the lights are on, someone's probably home. And there's a massive sculpture and pews in this monastery. Like, there's a ton of space, there's a ton of stuff, and she's like, homie, someone lit this up.
I'm also really curious as to, like, how much of Catholicism was set up by the 6th century. Like, the 6th century is not that long after Jesus.
Yeah, a couple hundred years later.
It takes some time to get, like, a big religion set up like that. I guess 600 years is enough.
And we know construction takes forever. You always have to add 6 weeks.
That's true.
They find a door that leads to a library. They poke around and find variations of the Bible. Old texts, parchments, shit like that. Indy finds a book that concerns the origin of the Nephilim order, the giants that were referenced in the Bible. Indy reads out that a tribe of giants swore loyalty to St. Peter during the founding of the Christian church to atone for their ancestral sin.
Is this a different set of giants than David and Goliath? Like,
Oh yeah, no, fuck that guy.
there's different giants in the... Man, I really didn't read the Bible. I really was Catholic, wasn't I?
They sent you to the school. The fuck did you guys talk about the whole time?
Not the giants.
Did you not have a unit on giants?
No.
It's like frog. You take apart the frog, you learn CPR, you talk about the giants.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, David and Goliath
agree
is the
with me.
most that we learned about for giants, but still, this is wild.
Indy's looking through this whole thing about how the tribe of giants swore their loyalty, and Gina goes, "Oh, that sounds very historical." Like she's kind of gentle parenting him.
Yeah.
Indy says, myth or history, just different ways of interpreting the past. A note Indy finds talks about Brother Locust traveling to the New World to retrieve something. And he's like, that motherfucker, that's 100% the big dude that knocked me out while I was at work. Do you know how embarrassing that is? The note says the cat has been placed in the treasury of esoteric artifacts. They are fully hot on the lead of the cat. Indy turns to Gina and says they have to find that treasury. She's fully down, but she's also really interested in searching the room for more cool shit. Maybe clues about her sister. He finds one more book he's curious about, but when he cracks it open, the language is old and hard to decipher. Gina teases him, saying, "Oh, I thought you were an expert on old shit. You love old shit. That's
oh my God.
all you can talk about." And Indy says, "I am an expert, and there's only one person in the world that knows more about dead shit like this than me.
Your sister.
Your sister, Dr.
Oh.
Laura Lombardi."
Now we have a reason to work together.
Gina agrees, and she's like, "Damn, my sister's cool as fuck." And then directs Indy to a painting of the Pope with a secret door behind it.
Oh, that's so cool. There's so many secret doors. Now she's finding secret doors.
She's cool as shit. The door is heavy as fuck, and they hear footsteps, so they rush behind the painting and into a secret passage. The passage leads to a dead end down a hallway, and Gina's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Come on." She finds an emblem in the wall, though, and she's like, "Wait, hold up. Come here." Indy recognizes it. It's the same as the pendant he took off of Locust during their tussle. He places the pendant in the wall indentation and turns, unlocking the secret door in the secret passage. The room is massive and filled with sculptures, statues, books, art, all kinds of shit. And here, Indy is found the treasury of esoteric artifacts.
Ooh.
They're alone here, and Indy's super impressed with the collection. There's like goblets, scrolls, all kinds of treasures. Indy finds his cat mummy and holds it, being reunited with his find.
End of game.
Roll credits! Unfortunately, he's also reunited with another old friend here as Locust enters. He's big and disappointed that Indy and Gina have infiltrated the Secret Order of Giants treasury of esoteric artifacts.
Which is crazy as real.
And they're not supposed to be here. They're not tall enough to ride.
They're not tall enough is so great.
Indy tries to be friendly, and he says, hey, you're Locust, right? We were in Connecticut together.
We boxed.
Locust responds to him in Latin, which is so fucking cool,
Terrifying.
and tells him in Latin, put the cat back. Indy sets the cat down, and Locust punches him very, very hard. In Latin, Locust tells Indy, a warrior's death is more than you deserve. This is the hardest character.
God
he's so
damn.
fucking cool. Indy says, I can take you on, and they fight, surrounded by history's treasures. Gina, true to being an NPC to Troy Baker in a game, occasionally throws shit, but is largely unhelpful.
Yeah, that's pretty average.
Yeah, poor Troy Baker.
He never gets the useful one.
You get hired as a companion NPC to him, and you're just like, I ain't doing shit in this, huh?
I'll toss you a few things here and there.
My character gonna look dumb as fucking battle, huh?
Yep.
Indy wears Locust down and eventually knocks him out. Indy tells Gina they have to leave. They do not want to be here when Locust wakes up.
Nope.
They lift Locust and move him, but they stop as soon as they start hearing movement. From outside the treasury, they hear Father Ventura, Mussolini, again, it's crazy he's in this,
Right.
and Emmerich Voss enter the treasury. Gina and Indy hustle to shuffle Locust out of sight and hide in the treasury. Voss is flanked by a bunch of Nazi assholes and says the artifacts are impressive. Father Ventura says they can't take anything, and Mussolini corrects him, saying Voss can do whatever he wants. Father Ventura says the Pope will be so mad if anything's missing, but the fascists don't give a fuck. Voss threatens to air out all of Father Ventura's secrets. And while he's not specific, he is serious and scary enough that Father Ventura gives up and is like, yep, do whatever you want. Green lights across the board.
I mean, when you're a pacifist surrounded by armed men, I guess, yeah, you're going to give in pretty quickly.
the backbone's not strong here, my guy. Mussolini watches and giggles at this. Father Ventura brings the fascists to the cat mummy, and Voss picks it up. He holds it to the light, and then smashes it on the ground.
What the fuck? We have spent so much time looking for this bitch.
Indy winces physically, watching it get destroyed.
It belonged in a museum.
From inside the remains of the cat mummy, Voss pours out a small object, the size of like half a brick, shaped like a puzzle piece. One of the Nazi assholes opens a briefcase and Voss drops it in. Voss snaps his fingers, and the Nazi assholes begin smashing more and more objects all throughout the treasury.
Oh my god.
Revealing more and more puzzle pieces. The Nazis bring their findings to the briefcase. Mussolini is amused because he just likes hearing when things get broken. He's like, fuck yeah, that's great. Party. And he's like, so what is that shit? And Voss says, these are the relics of the Great Circle. And Indy, who again is hiding, out loud says, the Great Circle. Like, shut up.
Yeah, we heard him, Indy.
Gina taps his shoulder, not to shut him up, which she should, but to warn him that Locust is starting to stir. He's beginning to wake up.
Oh, just keep hitting him in the head.
His head starts to turn, and she's concerned that the very large man is about to blow their cover or kill them. Indy's locked in on the Nazis destroying history, and he's like, give me a second, he's fine. Father Ventura says, from what I understand, it has taken the church centuries to gather these Great Circle relics, and not all are accounted for. Voss tells him, that's fine, there's only 4 left out there, and the German archaeology team will have them found within weeks. Gina finally gets Indy to pay attention to Locust waking up, and Indy punches him again to knock him out.
Hell yeah.
Father Ventura warns Voss that these artifacts have forces that are not of this earth. And Voss says, I know that! That's why Hitler wants them! Mussolini steps in, saying that he assumes Italy will also benefit from these findings. Which is foreshadowing, like I mentioned in history.
There you go.
Voss shakes his hand and says, once he has all the relics, both of their nations will be an unstoppable force. Also, Japan. Mussolini is having a great day, and he's like, hell yeah, we got everything we wanted. I'm awesome. Fuck all of you. I'm having a great time. Father Ventura is having a fucking panic attack. He is terrified the Pope is going to beat him up. Voss turns to leave and thanks Father Ventura for helping the Nazis. The fascists and Father Ventura leave. Indy and Gina get up, leaving Locust knocked out. Gina heads towards the door, and Indy asks where she's going. And she says she's going to follow the Nazis back to Giza, and she's going to find her sister. The Nazis have a massive dig site in Giza, and that's where Voss is heading now. And Indy says, okay, slow down.
Yeah.
Gina says he can't stop her. He found his cat. Now she has to find Laura. Indy tries just to talk to her, and he's like, baby girl, this is the Great Circle. This is Nazis. These people are crazy. This is a bad idea for you. Gina doesn't give a shit about Indy and runs through saying she's going to find her sister. And Indy kind of gives it a, well, you're going to 100% die if you go alone. So I feel compelled to go with you. Also, oh my God, did you guys hear the Great Circle?
Like, she's like, all right, first you were looking for a fucking cat.
Yeah.
Now you're looking for a big circle. Are you a kindergartner? Like, I'm looking for my sister.
I'm a journalist.
You just keep saying animals and shapes at me like this is supposed to fucking matter.
There's also a language barrier. So she's like a native Italian but speaks English. So
Right.
she's like, am I missing something? Is there a colloquialism for a cat mummy that means like the jewels of Egypt? Like, what are we doing? Indy follows Gina up and out of the chambers and to the roof where the Zeppelin is parked. Parked? Stalled. Anchored?
Anchored. I think anchored, right?
Gina sneaks in and Indy follows, knocking out fascists as he makes his way up. He gets caught by Father Ventura and a loose fascist soldier who says, Father Gallagher, which I forgot his name. By
It's
this point,
Right.
like,
Oh, me.
why are you not in the library with Father Antonio? Indy says, oh, what's up? I just want to check out the view. I'm an American. I like to look at stuff.
I'm entitled.
Father Ventura orders the fascists to attack Indy with a bat, but Indy whips the bat out of his hands. Father Ventura threatens Father Antonio for affiliating with Indy. He looks up and looks up and up and up, and there's Locust. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Locust says some menacing shit in Latin, and Father Ventura calls him a demon. Indy punches Father Ventura, and Locust slaps the shit out of him, which is very fun. The fascists descend on Locust while Indy slips away, sneaking onto the Zeppelin as it departs.
So, like, using Locust as a diversion?
It's hard not to look at him.
It's true, but damn, that's really well executed.
Very thoughtful. Indy looks down and watches as Locust and a few of his giant friends beat the shit out of the fascists.
Multiple giants now?
Yeah, a couple just rolled up. They're like, what's up, Locust? We got you.
Oh, there really is an order of giants. Why wasn't this called the Order of Giants? That's way cooler.
Do you remember what I told you the DLC was called?
Oh, right.
Tom genuinely forgot. I won't let that go. From his office, Father Antonio watches the Zeppelin take off and wishes Indy well on his journey. Indy gets in the Zeppelin and sits with Gina in the storage area. Gina asks why Indy is following her, because she's like, what the fuck, are you serious? And he tells her not to flatter herself. He asks if she knows about the Great Circle. She says, oh, it's probably some fancy ring that belongs in a museum. That's your whole thing, right? Indy is like, Jesus Christ, no, it's not. He goes to a wall and draws a circle. He explains that throughout history, like he's fucking giving a TED Talk.
God.
Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. Siwa, Giza, Persepolis, Sukhothai, Machu Picchu. Here's the strange part. If you were to draw a circle between these sites around the globe, you get a perfectly aligned circle. He marks these across the circle and draws a circle around them, connecting the spots into a ring around the world of great spiritual signification.
Yeah, that's some loose shit, man. That depends on how you draw the map and everything. Anyway.
Tom? Todd Howard's been working on this game
for a long time.
For 17 years. This is his original story. This has been rolling around his head being like, can I use this for Fallout? No. Is this an Elder Scrolls game? No. Could it be an Elder Ring game? Maybe it's a big circle. No, he saved it for this. Gina looks at the drawing and says, this seems like a coincidence. I love that her journalism in her is like, I'm suspicious of whatever the fuck you're saying. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Indy says, sure, maybe it's a fluke. But maybe Voss found something that connects the stone relics to the Great Circle. And Gina insists Nazis don't care about history. They only care about power. And Indy is like, bitch, I know. But the legends say the Great Circle does hold some power. Something about its geometry that connects these sites. Gina's over it, she's tired, and she's being stalked by a teacher. So she says, that's superstitious, and I'm not superstitious, so it must not be true. Which, not a great argument, babe.
I mean, I feel the same way.
Indy is exhausted and says, okay, listen, I'm not superstitious either, but I saw the Ark of the Covenant melt a Nazi's face off last summer.
Yeah. Like, not that long ago.
Literally months ago. Also, if Voss thinks he can help Hitler, then we have to get to them before he does. Gina could not care less. She says, no, you have to find them. I have to find my sister. And Indy's like, bitch, I'm trying to stop the Nazis. They sit in silence for a bit, and Indy apologizes. He notices her hairpin is an antique from the 19th century. Gina says, oh, this was a gift from my sister. He tells her it's quite lovely, and then he fiddles with it, and a knife pops out of it.
Oh, that's a good gift.
It's a really good gift. I'm so jealous. Gina is amused, saying, ooh, Laura did not tell me about that feature, and I could have used that when I was in prison.
Also, that could have accidentally stabbed your sister, like...
Also, Indy is surprised to say she was in prison?
I mean, yeah. That's how she learned how to lockpick.
Oh. Was in prison. She got out that way. Yeah, sure. Gina tells him there's a lot he doesn't know about her, and Indy says it's a long way to Giza. They bunker down in the Zeppelin and ride it out to the desert. We see the Zeppelin slide across the Mediterranean Sea, and they arrive near Giza. Gina explains she has a contact in Giza who's friends with her sister, and that they're going to meet up with them.
We don't get a no-ticket moment. Like, really?
No, we don't. They're just like, all right, this worked. This was great. No one ever came down in the several days it took to fly across the world.
Okay, they stayed perfectly undercover this whole time.
They ate, they drank water, they got rid of their waste, they washed, they're fine.
Okay.
Don't ask questions.
It's a video game.
The Zeppelin lands and Voss gets off and greets an Aryan Nazi commander on the ground, Colonel Gantz. Gantz immediately tells Voss he got fat from eating too much Italian pasta. Not a great way to introduce yourself to someone. Voss tells him, your bullshit may be cute for others, but my only concern is how badly you fucked up my excavation site while I was absent. Gantz is mad as hell because he's like, I lowballed you a joke.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna cry.
I was being cute. You're being a dick.
That's deadass the exact energy he gives him. He tells Voss that Hitler personally sent him here and his only job is to find the remaining relics. He threatens to have Voss shot, and Voss laughs in his face. Voss tells Gantz, you amuse me in the same way the funny foibles of the village idiot are amusing. Make the giant talk, and that's it.
Ooh.
Voss steps away to leave, and Gantz tells Voss he's planning on interrogating the giant this afternoon. Voss tells him, let me know when your inevitable failure has occurred so I may show you how to do it right. He's so fucking cool.
He's just expecting failure, though.
Yeah. Gantz tells Voss to rest and threatens him again. Voss is dismissive of Gantz and calls him tiresome and enters a car. Gantz goes to enter the car with Voss, but Voss tells him, the ride is full. Go get another car. And Voss again, only person in here aside from the driver. Gantz storms off and Voss smiles. He tells his driver, nothing is quite so easy to manipulate as an insecure male.
That's very true.
And they drive off, and I'm like, damn. Bars. Indy and Gina make it to the dig site in Giza, where the workers are all staying in tents. The worker tent surrounds the dig site, and the locals working here are clearly fucking sick of the Nazis. The Nazi dig site is heavily guarded and patrolled. They find Gina's sister's friend in a blue tent deep in the worker tent area. Her name is Nawal, and she's got round glasses and a white turban on. She ushers Indy and Gina into her tent quickly. Inside, Nawal removes her turban and warmly greets Gina with a hug and asks who the fucking white guy is. Gina introduces Indy as a famous archaeologist. Nawal recognizes him as an associate of Marcus Brody, and Indy is surprised she knows him. It really is a small world after all. Nawal introduces herself as Dame Nawal, a patron of history and its forgotten artifacts, a member of the Cairo Museum, and, as of late, a spy for Gina to find Laura. They catch up and eat some fresh grapes and have a drink. Indy is really impressed with the artifacts she has in her tent, saying she has a great eye for quality. Nawal is more interested in hearing about the Great Circle and finding out what the Nazis intend to use it for. She doesn't even really kind of get what the whole deal is.
Yeah.
Gina's upset that they're using her sister to unlock the secrets of the Great Circle. When her sister's in danger, get my fucking sister!
Cool, your fucking circle. Human being.
Person that we all appreciate and love for her contributions to the world.
Also, nobody can translate this thing without her anyway.
Yeah.
So let's find her. Kind of important.
She's a resource, you idiots. That's the whole point. Indy looks through more of Nawal's treasures and then screams as he meets Osiris, Nawal's pet snake. Noel asks him to feed Osiris, and Indy immediately says, oh, he's not hungry.
Poor Indy.
Gina teases him about being afraid of snakes, and Indy caves, not wanting to look like a chicken in front of the ladies. Dame Noel tells Gina and Indy about an artifact, the Idol of Ra, that the Nazis are digging for here. She says it's allegedly cursed with a terrible power, according to the old Egyptian legends. Indy's familiar and says, oh, well, that's been lost for thousands of years, but, just like the cat mummy, that idol probably has another relic for the Great Circle. Noel shows Gina a stolen experiment sign-off from the Nazi compound, where Laura Lombardi is listed as a participant. It's unclear what the experiment is or what Laura's involvement is, but Noel says that Voss has an office on the dig site that should have more information. She offers to get work passes so they can all sneak in. Gina hops on a radio and offers to listen in on the Nazi radio transmissions in the tent. She soon hears that the Nazis are working around the Sphinx and are looking for a spot called the Sanctuary of Guardians. Indy figures the Guardians may be guarding the Idol of Ra. They head out and begin to enter the Sphinx via the Nazi dig site. They get in and open a door to an untouched, massive sanctuary. Gina is in awe of how huge this place is. Indy confidently says this area hasn't been opened in thousands of years. They explore and begin to set off booby traps. Whatever is hiding down here is very well guarded.
Hell yeah.
They go deeper and deeper into ancient Egypt and find a gold mask enclosed with a stone barrier. Gina thinks it's really neat. Indy works out an entire escape room-ass puzzle while Gina stares into the glow of the gold, just going, God, that's going to look great in the sunlight.
I gotta be real. Egypt is the one place Indy hasn't gone to in the movies that he really should. I get that, I think it's in the third one they do go to Egypt technically, or that's where they find the cup or whatever.
It's not like an expansive piece, though.
No, it's not like the pyramids of Giza kind of shit.
He's straight up in the Sphinx.
Yeah, this is cool shit.
This is great. Indy frees the mask and holds it, inspecting the craftsmanship. He figures it's a ceremonial mask worn by the Guardians. Gina grabs it and pretends to wear it, saying, ooh, I'm coming for your cat mummy, Dr. Jones. This bitch. She's silly as fuck.
I like that she does not take him seriously.
Ooh, I'm coming for your cat mummy. Indy takes a photo, giggling at how silly Gina is being. Gina leans on a stone and then sits on it, triggering another goddamn booby trap.
Of course it does.
This sends the platform Indy and Gina are on down. Just fucking down. The whole platform is on an elevator, and they descend into the darkness under the sanctuary.
Oh.
Gina hands the gold mask back to Indy and says, I'm sorry. Indy and Gina work on puzzles to get through the sanctuary. Indy figures that the giants must have been held in extreme regard by the Egyptian kings to have warranted a place like this. They make their way out of the sanctuary through waves of scorpions and obstacles. Indy and Gina emerge back in the Sphinx dig site and head out of the Nazi-occupied area. Gina tells Indy, that was fun. And he clarifies, did you think it was fun almost dying? A real riot, girl.
For some people, that is a lot of fun.
That is Indy's exact definition of fun. She nailed this. She tells him, I can see why you like hunting treasures from the past. He takes a moment and tells her, maybe I'm just trying to set things right. Tell you what, take the gold mask back to Nawal for her museum. Gina's really, impressed and pleased by this, being like, okay, so you're not just a grave-digging asshole. You're giving things back to the museum so people can learn about them and study them and find out more about our culture. God, bringing you along was such a good idea. His ego bursts into flames. He can't handle that. He keeps verifying. I'm sorry, do you think you brought me along? I followed you. That's not you bringing me. That's me stalking. Indy, don't go that road.
We found your shit, Indy. You're still here.
And you're just hanging out now.
Yeah.
He's like, you brought me along? And Gina goes, yeah, I did bring you along, and I'm a genius.
I love her, honestly. She's killer.
She stands and leaves to go see Nawal. To add insult to injury, Indiana is then pinched by a scorpion. They're fucking with him, really. It's just, I keep trying to think of the context of, this man just got dumped.
Yeah.
He lost his deposits for a wedding.
Things have to get worse for him before they can get better.
Yeah. Indy runs into an old friend who he's met at museums before, Professor Omar. Professor Omar gives Indy a heads up that he found a piece of clay that states a servant declared on her deathbed there's a secret in the tomb of one of the queens. The Nazis had been looking there, but they gave up, so there may be an opportunity to find something before the Nazis. fuck the Nazis.
Yeah.
Indy's like, yeah, fuck the Nazis. Indy heads into that tomb where there's only a few Nazis guarding the area. He clears it and finds a secret hidden chamber with ancient texts on a stone slab. He grabs that and gives it to Nawal because it belongs in a museum.
Damn right it does.
Nawal tells Indy and Gina that she has a way to get into the Nazi compound. There's tunnels under Giza. They're unconfirmed, but there are rumors there's a burial chamber through the tunnels. She thinks one of her agents found an entrance that leads into the Nazi compound through those tunnels. And she explains she'll get Indy and Gina into the dig site, and they'll have to run into the tunnels fast before they get spotted. The tunnel leads into a workers' area near Voss's barracks. Once Indy and Gina are good to go and need a distraction, they're going to take down a high-flying Nazi flag. Nawal will take that as a sign and cause a distraction, and then they can take advantage of the confusion and rush into Voss's office. It's a fucking heist.
It's a solid plan, honestly.
Yeah. Indy and Gina slip into the dig site and find the secret tunnel entrance. They slip inside the dark, empty tunnels and are met with a few sarcophaguses. Sarcophagi?
Sarcophagi, I think,
Sarcophagi lining the walls. Indy is happy to tell Gina they're in a tomb. She is not happy to be in a tomb, but he's like, this is fucking great. Look at all the dead bodies. And she's like, this is fucking terrible. Look at all the dead bodies.
This is a morgue, motherfucker.
She says it feels like they're staring at her. And Indy reassures her, going, oh my god, don't worry, they're so dead.
Yeah, their eyes have been eaten a long time ago.
That's so gross. The tomb is naturally booby-trapped, as are basically everywhere Indiana's ever been. I think his life is an escape room. And there are puzzles that separate Gina and Indy at points. And there's also a shit ton of scorpions, which is great. Like, why did it have to be scorpions? Gina and Indy get through the secret tunnels and pop out just where Nawal told them they would, over by the workers' area of the Nazi barracks. They see the high-flying flag and sneak over to yank it down. While my personal politics are that we should be loud and proud of destroying Nazi propaganda and materials, I understand within this context, in 1937 Nazi-occupied Giza, they have to be discreet.
Yes.
Indy yanks the flag down, and across the compound, there is a massive loud explosion.
Oh!
Nawal is a fucking beast. Indy leads Gina through the offices to a several-story built shelter where Voss's personal office is. The Nazis are very distracted with the explosion, but there's still a few fascist fuckers hanging around to beat up. Indy and Gina make it inside the several-story shelter and start snooping. Indy finds a memo about a missing Nazi battleship off the coast of Peru. He and Gina have no idea how these fucking morons could lose a battleship, but I guess that's a trope now because in Wolfenstein they did take the Eva's hammer.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
They're like, no, the Nazis are terrible at hanging onto their boats. Indy finds Laura Lombardi's notebook and tells Gina he found her sister's notes. She says, oh my god, I knew Voss was behind her disappearance. Indy flips through her notebook and sees ancient languages, Sumerian cuneiform, Demotic script, hieroglyphics, and one more he doesn't know. But he recognizes it from the Vatican's secret monastery. Gina lets him hang on to it to study so they can get more insight into what happened to Laura. She's like, I can't read hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. You take a stab at it.
Right.
Gina looks out and says, oh, wait, there's something happening. It looks like Voss is just outside. Gina says they should follow him and see what he's up to. Gina and Indy tail Voss to another multi-story structure on the compound. Voss enters and Gina and Indy go to the second floor. Indy pulls up a piece of wood and they watch on from above. Voss circles a table where a giant, a big guy just like Locust, is dead. His body is covered by a blanket, but the skin we do see is covered in ancient writings, just like the one in Laura's notebook that Indy didn't know. The giant's eyes are covered with a bandana. Under Gina and Indy, Voss tells a pacing Colonel Gantz, you were supposed to interrogate him. This is a dead person.
Ugh, this is a little macabre for Indiana Jones.
Well, Gantz tells him, I did interrogate him, and he didn't say anything, and now he's dead. I was impatient.
Yeah, you did the interrogation and the torture wrong.
That's why Voss is mad.
Yeah.
Voss sighs and says, I have tolerated your stunning incompetence out of respect for the Fuhrer, but this amounts to treason. Colonel Gantz is furious and turns, pistol drawn on Voss, screaming that he has the full authority to kill him right now. No one would even ask why. Never question my commitment to fascism. Voss smiles and says, fascinating. Where are the ape sounds? And then Voss scratches his armpits and starts hooting like a monkey. He gets chest to chest with Colonel Gans, making monkey sounds and saying, "Ora, ora."
I'm not gonna lie. I was in another room while you were playing this section of the game, and I could hear this monkey sound going off. And all I could think in my head is like, I really hope this is a human character making monkey sounds and not an actor trying to play a monkey like in the game. So I'm hoping he did not encounter a real monkey here. I'm very happy to hear that this was a man pretending to be a monkey.
I hate that your sigh of relief was, oh, it was a Nazi. That's fine. Also, did you think Indiana Jones was fighting a monkey?
I wasn't sure. I just thought maybe he was going through a zoo and a monkey like jump scared the cage or something like that, you know? And
famously, the monkeys have been kind to Indiana Jones.
that's true, yeah. You didn't see that movie.
What? So he's making all these monkey sounds at Colonel Gans. He goes, "Where were the sounds to accompany your embarrassing attempt at dominance?" He's one of the best written villains I've ever experienced. Colonel Gans can't even say anything, but he grabs Voss by the neck and slams him down on a table. He pushes his pistol into Voss's face. Voss calmly says, "That giant was our only chance at getting the artifact we need, and you, Gans, have killed him." Indy and Gina back their faces away from the hole in the ceiling that they made just because they're like, well, this is fucking tense.
Yeah, let's just let this play out.
Voss keeps cooking this pig alive, saying, "How do you plan to address this problem, you idiotic chimp? Will you pray that some miraculous solution strikes you out of the blue?" As he says this, the boards holding up the ceiling collapse and Gina and Indy tumble down onto Voss and Gans.
Oh my god.
Voss rolls out of the way and Gans takes the brunt of the collapse. Indy and Voss stand and look at each other. Voss is curiously familiar with this face, addressing him fully as Indiana Jones and asking why he's here. Indy says, "Oh, he's just dropping by." This motherfucker.
He just dropped in. Seriously, you pulled that pun. Oh, I love him.
Voss says it's been a long time, and he says he missed their conversations. Gina gets up quickly and quietly getting behind Voss, pointing a pistol at him. Indy says, "I don't miss our conversations. Watch him." Voss turns to see Gina holding him at gunpoint. Voss is caught. He turns to look between Indiana and Gina. He walks to Gina and gets on his knees with his hands high in the air. Indy goes to inspect the corpse of the giant while Gina demands Voss to tell her where Dr. Lombardi is. And Voss looks at her and says, "Oh, right. She said she had a sister. I see the resemblance." It's here where I'm reminded of a few different pieces of fan content about how Voss is one of the best villains in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Okay.
He's incredibly intelligent, he's emotionally manipulative, and above all else, he's calm. He's unflappable. His mind is a steel trap, and he loves to play with ego.
A calm villain is always fantastic.
Oh, it's terrifying. And this is a fantastic actor who did the entire performance. He's done every big character in German, so he's had a lot of experience. He's so fucking cool.
He's like, I'm basically doing an Indiana Jones movie. I'm going to give it my absolute all.
Oh, you don't half-ass an Indiana Jones project, except for the ones we don't recognize. Voss tells Gina that it's heartwarming that she came all this way to save Laura. Gina calls him a creep and threatens to shoot him. Voss turns his attention to Indy, who's furiously studying the giant and taking photos of the markings on his body. Voss goats him into discussing the images, asking if they're archaic Sumerian. They discuss the structure of the language, arguing about what it means. Voss calls Indiana a dumbass, and he can't have that, so he explodes, giving Voss more historical information about this language, empowering the Nazi with knowledge.
Oh, no.
He's saying this predates hieroglyphics and is narrowing down on the correct way to interpret this. Just what Voss's team has been working on, you fucking weirdo. Don't tell the Nazi stuff.
Told them way too much.
Indy stops and then smiles and says, "It's Adamic. It's Adamic, isn't it?" And Voss takes a deep breath. Indy explains, Adamic was the first language given to men by God. It must have been what Laura was researching. Voss is quiet now. Indy finds another pendant on this dead giant, the same as Locust. Voss asks what led Indy here, and he asks if it was a woman. Voss looks at Gina, blaming her with his eyes. He says, "Oh, it's always about a woman, isn't it?" And he says, "Don't be ridiculous. I am single and ready to mingle." Voss correctly reads Indy here, and he says, You left her heartbroken, didn't you? For what? Were you afraid of being a husband? Were you afraid of being a father?
Oh, God.
Oh, I know. You were afraid of becoming your father.
Oh my God. Nobody's ever gone after Indy in this way before. Like, nobody has used his own life against him.
No, they've always just been like, "Ah, you're so smart."
Holy shit. Nobody's like played against his ego or like just tried to attack him in that way. And fuck, that hurts. I feel for Indy right now. I'm like, God damn.
Were you afraid to become your own father? No!
Oh.
Indy starts to crack and tells him, you know what, you can play all the mind games you want. I'm not the one at gunpoint. Sticks and stones.
Indy, admit, that one hurt. That one stung a little. At the very least, a little.
Now, I know you feel something for this scene that I'm just reiterating to you. But during production of this scene, they did a few takes, but it wasn't really working yet. So after a few takes, they take a break, and the director takes Marios, the actor for Voss, aside, and he says, okay, hear me out. Take a deep breath. Fuck Indiana Jones. Fuck that guy. Doesn't matter. You want to get into Troy Baker's head. Fuck with Troy personally. Look at that man.
Oh.
Destroy him. And that pivot brought the scene up in the intensity and made it work to the point
I love that.
where me just reiterating it to you made you feel something.
Take all the times he has annoyed you during production and filter it right now.
Go. And it worked.
He's
so,
like,
great directing.
Got it.
That was the note I needed. I'm on it, boss. Gina approaches Voss with her gun pointed at his face and demands to know where Laura is. Voss says, you should be asking yourself, who is Laura? What in the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy shit?
Ugh.
Gina yells at him to say where he's taken her. And Voss is quiet and calm and explains, always choose the explanation with the fewest assumptions. You're assuming she didn't join my cause out of her own free volition. You're assuming she wants you to find her, when the only assumption you need to make is that she's happy where she is. Working for me. Voss is beginning to stand now, his arms still raised, but he's on his feet. Gina pistol whips Voss, and Voss says, all right, now that I have their undivided attention, you are welcome to proceed. Voss was speaking to Colonel Gans, who stands and hits both Gina and Indy from behind. Indy gets knocked to the ground, and Voss kicks him in the face. Colonel Gans holds Gina's arms together, then throws her at the ground. Indy puts his elbow back to punch Gans and elbows Voss right in the face, which is just some Looney Tunes shit. Gans knocks Indy out and goes to stomp his head in, but Gina screams, hey, and pulls her gun on Gans. Voss goes behind Gina and jumps from a chair, arms raised like an animal, and screams, rah! Capturing Gina like a squirrel monkey catching a nut. And I swear to God, this made me laugh. He does... It's the silliest shit. You're playing monkeys when you're a kid, and he already did the animal thing, so you're like, he's in a weird mood, you know? He's on safari or some shit, but he hits this bitch with a... Gina fires the gun as she goes down. The bullet scrapes across Gans's face and hits a portrait of Hitler right behind him on the wall.
Good.
Gans is in shock and looks up at the portrait of Hitler. Gina and Voss land with the gun just in front of them. They both crawl for it simultaneously. Voss puts his hand on it, but Gina reaches across and breaks Voss's nose by grabbing it and turning her fist.
Oh.
It's so fucking cool. She grabs the gun and runs to the wall. She stands up too fast and hits her head on the shelf, knocking herself out. A hammer falls from there, and Voss catches it. Her bullet whizzes right past Gans's dick, and he is horrified that he almost just got his German sausage sniped down from a pig in a blanket. Voss stands, blood pouring out of his face, holding a hammer with a knocked out Gina behind him. Gans sees this, goes to him, and thanks him for saving his life. He thinks Voss knocked out Gina and knocked the bullet out of his dick range. And Voss tells him, I would never betray my duty to the fatherland.
Oh my God.
Gans says, I am forever in your debt. Voss isn't one to turn down a favor, and even if it's a freebie, he's like, that's great. And he tells Gans to gather the men and the saw blades and put these two in shackles. Indy stands, a big wooden chair in his hands. He says, I got a better idea, and hits both Voss and Gans with it.
Hell yeah.
They crumble to the ground, concussed and sleeping it off. Indy picks up his hat and wakes up Gina, telling her they gotta get out of here. This shit sucks.
Hat was first priority.
Yeah, before waking up your friend. Gina locks the door behind them and they leave. Noel told them where the best exit tunnel is, so they head for their escape route. Unfortunately, as they go to leave, the Nazi narc alarm goes off, alerting everyone there to find and kill Indy and Gina.
Oh.
Noel is over by their escape tunnel, ready to help get them through. The Nazis see where Indy and Gina are heading, and they implode the tunnel. Indy and Narwhal wake up in the rubble, separated from Gina. Gina's near the exit and can go straight out, but Noel and Indy have to find a new route with parts of the tunnel collapsed. Noel and Indy make some small talk, and she's like, okay, so just asking, do you think Gina's cute? And he calls her a pain. He's like, no, I think she's a fucking pain in the ass. I don't think she likes me or respects me as a man.
We haven't gotten along at all yet.
They get out on the far outskirts of the dig site where it's quiet. There's a temple that Noel says they can cut through to regroup with Gina. They enter the temple and see a mural to the idol of Ra. Noel and Indy geek out over this finding. A snake comes out of the mural, and Noel greets this cutie. Indy takes many steps back and says he's more of a dog person. They read the mural, which says, the Guardians must protect the gift from the gods, which they figure are the giants guarding the idol. Indy says, it's the giants, the order. They were working with the ancient Egyptians thousands of years before the rise of the Christian church. They read that only the giants can unlock the idol. Indy figures it's the tattoos. The giants have the code on them to unlock the idol. There's got to be something here.
I do like that the order predates Christianity even.
Isn't that crazy?
I love that.
The message reads that the Guardians are protecting the Sphinx. Indy figures he has to pay the Sphinx a visit. He's like, all right, you know what? While I have you, I'm going to shoot my shot. Hey, Noel, will you sponsor an upcoming expedition of mine? She says she'll think about it. And this is such a throwaway line. This is not going to lead into anything, but I think it's crazy that he really was like, while I have you.
He is a professor. He needs funding.
She's a producer. She loves racing for historical artifacts.
Yeah.
I really also like that she's like, let's circle back, you fucking freak. Can you stop the Nazis first? That'll impress my stakeholders.
Yeah.
They exit the tunnel and Noel heads back to the tent. Indy's still on the hunt, so he compares his notes to some artifacts on the dig site. Based on some carvings, he figures the Guardians were guarding something over by a pyramid, so he heads over there. Near the pyramid is a small set of stairs that lead down to a dead end. Etched on the wall at the dead end is a symbol Indy recognizes from the dead giant's tattoos. It's a Damic. He breaks the wall down and opens into a long set of stairs that go deep under the pyramid. He figures this area wasn't a tomb, but he's not quite sure what its use was. He finds a room with the Damic symbols carved onto the walls. Using Laura's notes and Indy's memories of cryptic shit Locus has said to him, he figures out what some of the symbols mean. He takes photos of the carvings and lays them out, going tablet by tablet, encrypting them, saying the Adamic phrase for, heed the Lord's oath, protect the secret of the name. After he says this, the sand beneath his feet begins to sink, and he tumbles down a secret drop.
Oh.
He goes deep into a dark drop and wakes up in a deep tunnel with puzzles and artifacts. Indy's particularly impressed because based on what he finds, these tunnels have been here since before the ancient Egyptians.
Damn.
The tunnels lead to a series of ancient caves with massive drops. Indy's amazed. He's never seen anything like this. As he makes it across the cave, he starts to hear whispers on the wind. He gets through the cavern to another tunnel. There's a skeleton leaning against a rock. Indy looks down and says, it must have been a raider seeking his fortune.
Yep.
Now, this is some bullshit. People claim that this is both a Tomb Raider and an Uncharted Drake's Fortune nod, and it's simply not.
Okay.
Be so fucking for real.
Just not.
But here's something silly. Troy Baker pitched a nod to Uncharted in this game.
He did.
He pitched it where he went up to Todd Howard, first of all. He went up to Todd Howard and was like, I have an idea how we can pay homage to PlayStation's hero boy, my best friend Nathan Drake, and also my baby brother.
I was going to say, he's also in the game.
He's Sam Drake, yeah, to this point. But he was like, I want to find an artifact that has to do with Sir Francis Drake and go, oh, I know a guy who is looking into this.
Okay.
Because
kind of.
For lore reasons, the Drake boys do believe they are descendants of Sir Francis Drake.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey man, timed exclusive on Xbox. Maybe if this does well, we'll think about it, you know?
Yeah. Wait 6 months when they're saying that exclusivity means nothing to Xbox any longer and we get Halo on PlayStation.
Girl, I can't wait to talk to you about that. That's crazy. The tunnel is tall and leads down to a completely dark area. Indy uses his lighter to find his way, and he sees he's in a hall with massive, even giant statues. He goes to one statue and sees an Adamic saying for light bearer carved into it. He reads it out loud, then hears a voice responding in Adamic saying forbidden. Indy asks who's there and where they are. It's dark, I can't see shit. Indy fiddles with his lighter and he brings the flame up to his eyes, where he sees a belly button of a giant standing over him.
Oh.
He looks up and up and up at a giant, calling him a trespasser. The giant's eyes are covered with cloth, and he's been in deep darkness down here. He says more Adamic shit and then picks Indy up by the shoulders and throws him.
To be fair, that flame should, like, blind him if he's been down here in that dark for so long.
He's got his eyes covered.
Okay, fair.
He's got a full wrap thing going on.
He just knows where everything is, like a blind person.
Yeah. Now, Indy has a lighter, but this giant is basically goddamn Daredevil, to your point.
Yeah.
And they scrap down here. Indy takes the giant down and goes to pull his pendant off of the body. The giant grabs Indy's arm and says in Adamic, "Do not speak the name." Indy asks, "What name? Will you please speak it for me? I need you to be very clear with this context."
Try to trick him into saying the name.
I guess a little, but the giant is unresponsive. And Indy's like, "Well, that won't be important in Act 3. He continues into the temple and into a deep chamber that holds one item, the idol of Ra. He lifts the idol nervously, looking around for the temple to collapse or for a boulder to roll down and pancake him. But a couple of moments go by and he confirms it's safe, so he kneels and lays the idol down. He picks up a big rock and looks away because he can't bear the sight of it and smashes this ancient idol.
Oh, that is something he would hate so much.
In the debris, he pulls up a stone artifact with Adamic carvings. Indy holds this preciously in his palms, then notices the rocks begin to fall from the temple ceilings.
Oh, shit.
He says, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." He kisses the stone artifact, tucks it into his jacket, and rides the rising sand up to an escape hatch. He runs through the collapsing tunnel and barely makes it to the surface, gasping his breath while he swims out of the sand. He's half buried, but he says, "I made it." He reaches in his jacket and pulls out the stone artifact. A hissing noise pulls his attention behind him, and he turns to see the hiss of more sand pouring out of the temple. He says, "Oh, come on," and becomes buried. A few hours later, Indy wakes up. His head and one hand are out of the sand, but otherwise he is completely buried and unable to move. The stone artifact is near him, but just out of reach of his one free hand. His hat is near his head, but not on it. Indy tries to free his arm and reaches for the stone artifact when a long shadow blocks his sun. Voss looks down and asks, "What are you doing here, Dr. Jones? Are you enjoying the sun?" His round glasses are sitting on top of a brace that takes up his whole nose, since Gina broke it.
Right.
Voss kneels down to speak to Indy. Colonel Gantz is standing behind Voss, grinning and gleeful. Voss says, "You think you know the Great Circle, but you don't know its power, or the power of this." And Voss picks up the stone artifact and says, "I am the one unlocking its truth, piece by piece." Indy has a fucking ego. It's been bruised. He's buried up to his neck in sand, and he goes, "Oh yeah, Voss? I found it. I solved the puzzle to get it. And here's what you're missing, Voss. Archaeology is a game of wits, determination, proper research." And Voss cuts him off, laughing his ass off. He's like, "You're buried in sand, dipshit." Once he starts laughing, all his Nazis start laughing too, and Indy realizes what's happening, and he gets so embarrassed, he just gives up on his diatribe. He's just like, "Oh, I ain't got shit to say. You're right,
Yeah,
right."
I'm kind of backed in a corner right now.
Voss says, "Okay, let me tell you what you're missing, Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you." Indy squeezes his one free hand into a fist. Voss is enjoying this. He lays on his belly to be face to face with Indy and says, "Oh, I can hear your gears turning now. You're wondering if maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning, instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sands of Africa." Indy smiles at Voss and then headbutts him. He's only got the one move,
Yeah, he's kind of stuck here.
Voss's glasses squeeze on his broken nose and he stands up, furious and in pain. He kicks Indy in the head. Voss nurses his face while saying, "Oh, Dr. Jones, for you, violence is always the answer." A Nazi shipbag goes to Voss and says they picked up a distress signal from the lost crew. Voss asks where they are, and the Nazi shipbag says, the Himalayas. Voss just says, oh, that's a harsh climb for this time of year. He looks like he's trying to solve a puzzle. Colonel Gans inserts himself, begging Voss to attend to the matter in the Himalayas. Voss says, oh no, I will not risk my most valuable man on such a dangerous mission. Gans lathers up to lick the boot again, saying, going to the Himalayas would be my honor. I will secure another victory for the fatherland. And Voss goes, perfect, go. Your bravery will make Hitler proud.
Yep.
Get out of here. Go. Gans and his Nazis head off, leaving Voss's driver, and Indy behind. Voss talks to his driver again, saying, see? Just a little confrontation, a little admiration, and the insecure male will volunteer its undying loyalty. Like he's teaching a masterclass to one man about manipulation. Voss goes to Indy and picks up his hat. He says, oh, we wouldn't want you to catch a sunburn, would we, Dr. Jones? He throws the hat and it lands on Indy's head. Voss goes to his car and rides off with his driver. Here, as the player, you're trapped in the endless desert. The heat waves bleed through your vision while the unforgiving sand weighs heavy. It feels hopeless, but beautiful. A scorpion begins to approach and Indy is furious.
Oh, damn it.
As Indy, all you can do is blow your hot breath at the scorpions. However, these are scorpions, and they don't give a shit about your gingivitis. They want flesh. Their numbers spread and their tails are poised to poke Indiana Jones. Indy pleads with the advancing scorpions, saying, hey, this isn't fair. Unfortunately, the scorpions are here to rock you like a hurricane. He tries to blow, but the scorpions cannot feel the winds of change. He tells them to go away, but the scorpions are always somewhere. And that is how Indiana Jones died.
What the fuck?
I'm fucking with you. A car pulls up right before Indy loses consciousness, and it scares away the scorpions. Still loving you. I don't know a lot of Scorpion songs, I'm so sorry. Gina and Narwhal get out and kick at the scorpions to make them go away. Gina and Narwhal slide to Indy and furiously start digging. They uncover Indy and pull him out, propping him against the truck and getting him fresh water. He gulps it all down and tells them he found the idol of Ra and the stone. And then he panics and stands quickly, telling Gina that Voss took the stone. Narwhal brings up a report to Indy that one of her spies picked up, saying that some time ago, Voss discovered an ancient scroll in a tomb in North Africa concerning forbidden stones. A few months ago, he secured funding for a dig in Machu Picchu, one of the cities in the Great Circle. On that dig, they found a stone with Adamic symbols. They found Laura Lombardi to look into the symbols' meaning. Unfortunately, they lost the stone, but it sounds like a crew was sent to the Himalayas. And he's like, yes, I know that. I heard it from him straight on. You got this, 100%. Gina also got the coordinates from listening in on the Nazi radio transmissions. Indy says they're going to go for the stone there. We have to get there before the Nazis do. Narwhal offers to give them a lift to the Himalayas on the Speedy Arrow, her personal ship. Like, she's such a cool, eccentric, rich lady. I love her.
The fact that she has a personal ship.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She's like, oh, glorious. I can help you kill the Nazis. She's so fucking cool. The red line draws across the map as they go from Giza to the Himalayas. Nawal sets them up with a local guide she knows once they arrive. Indy and Gina make it to the snowy mountains of the Himalayas. The storm is so bad, their local guide gave up on them, and now they're just on their own.
Oh my god.
They are miserable and cold and resolve to go in, get the stone, and get the fuck out of here. Through the storm, they see the massive outline of something crazy hanging off of the mountain. Indy asks if Gina's seeing this too, and she says, yeah, it's a ship. They get closer, and Indy confirms, yep, that's a Nazi battleship.
Up in the mountains?
Yep, here in the middle of the Himalayan mountains is a massive Nazi ship.
How the fuck did that get here?
Now, it's hard for me to not think of the first Uncharted, where they found a whole-ass Nazi ship in the middle of the jungle, and they went, how the fuck did this get here?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering the same thing.
Because this is the exact same scene. In the Uncharted version, it's Nate and Sully being like, well, goddamn, that's crazy. And here they're like, yeah, goddamn, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I kind of think of like Half-Life 2 with the Borealis being stuck inside the mountain, shit like that too.
We can double down on this, absolutely.
Yeah.
Indy and Gina make their way into the ship. There's been a hull breach, and a lot of the ship is frozen over inside. As they go deeper into the ship, they start finding frozen over Nazi corpses. They start looking for the captain. If this crew did find a stone, it would be with the captain. The Gantz Nazi crew haven't gotten here yet, but Indy doesn't want to test their luck and pushes Gina to move quickly. Gina goes and then stops dead in her tracks. She looks down at one frozen over body and recognizes Laura. Indy goes to Laura's body and confirms that woman is long dead. Gina falls to her knees sobbing and Indy catches her. Gina screams long guttural cries into his arms. They stay in the room for a long time with the body of Laura. Gina screams herself sore, and then she and Indy both sit facing Laura. After Gina gathers her thoughts, she says, I need to know what happened here. Indy promises he will help her. Indy goes to Laura's body and pulls a folder from nearby. They open it and see Laura's Nazi paperwork, her work order, and her work ID. Gina's not having it and says, No, Laura would never work for the Nazis. Then she's interrupted by the voice of Colonel Gans telling his Nazis to search the place.
Ugh.
Gina needs just one more moment saying goodbye to her sister, and Indy furiously reads through her files. He finds a note that says, for he could fold the earth by speaking the word. He doesn't know what fold the earth means, but he better remember it for later. Gina cries as she says goodbye to Laura, her tears freezing and holding steady, sticking to her face before they can roll all the way down. Indy and Gina begin to get further through the ship when Gans's Nazis start rolling up on them. Gina moves fast and furiously. She says she has to know what happened here and why her sister was on this ship. Indy is patient with her and supportive. He tells her they'll find out and encourages her to start looking for clues while they move through. They have to be careful while they cross now. There's Nazis fucking everywhere. Gina settles something with herself, saying, well, maybe I'll never know why Laura was here, but I can at least stop Voss from getting that stone. They make it to the captain's office, and the captain is frozen solid, dead and holding the stone artifact.
Oh my god.
Indy goes to pry it from his cold, dead body when some Nazis enter. Indy and Gina hide quickly, and the Nazi pigs don't notice them. One does notice the dead captain and pulls the stone artifact for himself. Indy and Gina knock out the Nazis and take the stone. They're happy. Then Gans and more Nazis come in. Gans is surprised to see Indy and tells him that Voss said he died. Indy says, I wonder what else he lied to you about.
Oh no, Nazis were lying to you?
Gans commands Indy to put his hands behind his head, and he has his Nazis walk him out. Gans scans the room as he leaves, but he doesn't notice Gina hiding near a box of grenades. Gans pulls Indy out on the deck and demands to know where the stone is. Indy says, what stone? Come on, man. Gans threatens to throw Indy over the ship and down into the depths of the Himalayan mountains. He gets bored and throws Indy to his knees and starts monologuing about his dedication to the fatherland. He says Americans are stupid because of cartoons, and he demands the stone. Indy says he doesn't have the stone. Gans pulls a gun and threatens to shoot Indy. And that's when Gina stands up, holding the stone. God damn it, Gina.
Gina. After all we've gone through, you lost a sister over this shit.
Yeah, baby, 10 more minutes. Gans demands the stone again, and Indy tells Gina not to give it to him. Gina waves the stone in her gloved hand and then places it in Gans's hand, letting his fingers curl around it. He's pleased and he has a false sense of accomplishment. Gans reacts poorly and throws the grenade behind him onto one of his Nazis.
Oh.
She gave him a grenade.
Oh, that's so good.
Gina goes to Indy and gets him on his feet. The grenade gets hit off of the ship and down into the mountains, and Indy and Gina hide. They have the stone. They have the stone. The Nazis are scared. Things are looking up.
Saying that it fell off the ship onto the mountains, it's hard to remember. Oh, right, we're up in the fucking mountains on this boat.
We're on the side of a mountain in a boat. It's crazy. The grenade goes off and begins to trigger an avalanche, and the ship begins to shake and sway. Indy fights the Nazis, knocking a bunch of them off of the main deck, including Gans. He turns to Gina, who has the stone, and they run up the ship as it descends down the mountain. The ship breaks apart as they slide faster and further down. The ship catches, and they catch their breath, sitting on a massive mast of the ship. Indy breaks the news to Gina, saying, well, I'm all out of ideas. Gina looks at the stone and says, what if it's the stone that brought the ship here? Indy thinks back to Laura's notes saying, he could fold the earth by speaking the word.
Oh, right.
The ship slips and Indy and Laura brace themselves again. Indy takes the stone and Gina's eyes go wide saying, we have to do something. And Gans's gloves come into frame. He climbs his way back up to Indy and Gina. Gans hypes himself up saying, I am invincible. I can do anything. Why are you doing self-affirmations. Right now. Indy squints and studies the stone to decipher what this stone says. Indy figures it's earth or earth splitter, and all he has to do is read the right word in Adamic. A jolt sends Gina flying off of the mast, and Indy falls right after her. While falling, they reach out to each other, grab hands, and in Adamic, Indy screams the word for earth splitter. A gust of air pushes them and sends Gina flying.
Whoa.
They're spun into a dark cloud, and loose parts of the ship that broke off spin along with them.
What the fuck?
They're caught in a tornado, and it all goes dark. They wake up in Shanghai.
What?
Indy opens his eyes and yells for Gina, then starts looking for the stone. Behind him, Gans wakes up. He stands, holding a piece of the ship's anchor that traveled with them. He tells Indy, I told you, I'm invincible.
What the fuck happened?
Gans pulls the anchor over his head to swing down on Indy when glass panels fall from the ceiling and directly into his back.
Good.
Gans falls down, dead.
Dead. Oh.
I am invincible. You are dead.
Oh, that's great.
Indy looks down at him and says, congratulations.
On your invincibility?
Yeah. Gina yells out for Indy, saying she has the stone. She is reasonably very confused as to what just happened because they were just in the mountains, and Indy is like, baby girl, it was magic.
We teleported.
Magic is real.
All right, so this is Half-Life 2.
They get to the edge of the building they crashed into and see Japanese warplanes flying through the area.
What the fuck?
Gina is very disappointed that the stone took them to a war zone. She's like, oh, come on. We couldn't go to a villa.
Right.
They navigate war-torn Shanghai and dodge air bombs and find a small plane that Gina is confident she knows how to fly. Indy is not excited about this plan, even a little bit.
What?
But he doesn't have a better idea.
She knows how to fly a plane. I love her.
Yeah, so they go with the plan where Gina flies them out of war-torn Shanghai with a stolen plane. They steal the plane and Gina flies them out of war-torn Shanghai. Gina is the pilot while Indy hops in the cockpit where there's a machine gun. My favorite thing in the world.
Ho, ho, ho.
They fly... Everything's Christmas if you think about it. They fly through the Obi-Wan bar, and Indy says, Lao Chi won't be happy.
Nope.
Gina doesn't know who that is because she hasn't seen Temple of Doom. Gina says they're starting to lose altitude, and Indy says, oh, I'll just get us a new plane. This one's trashed. Gina holds steady while Indy climbs out of their plane and jumps onto a Japanese bomber that's flanking them. Indy lands on the Japanese plane's wing, and their shooter gets out. And Indy has a fistfight on the wing of a moving plane.
Oh my god, that's epic.
It happened in It Takes Two.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He punches the guy off the plane and goes to the pilot. The pilot is shocked to have a visitor.
You're not the passenger I had a minute ago.
You're a white guy. What happened to my buddy? And Indy punches the pilot, saying,
no ticket.
Get off my plane.
Stop.
Get off my plane.
Stop. He does not.
I didn't kill my wife. It's the man with 6 fingers.
One arm.
One arm, fuck. My name is Inigo Montoya.
No, different one.
I didn't kill my wife.
Get off my plane.
Get
They
off
really
my
did that
plane.
shit.
If you guys haven't caught up on what I consider to be one movie but is legally two of The Fugitive and Air Force One, I cannot decipher what happens in what, but I think they're the same movie.
Drastically different.
They're so fun though. God, I love Harrison Ford.
You really do.
Gina jumps ship from the old plane and joins Indy in the Japanese one. Indy pilots this plane and helps Gina enter the cabin, and they fly off. Gina says she still doesn't understand how a rock could bring them halfway around the world. Indy doesn't understand it either, but says, you know, one thing I know is no one can ever use those stones again. Nazis use it, they end up on a mountain. We use it, we end up dodging bullets and bombs in a war zone. I've seen what happens when mortals mess with this kind of power. Like I said, last summer, I saw this guy's face melt. It doesn't end well. Gina is solemn and sad. Indy offers to drop her off at the nearest harbor so she can go home to Italy. And Gina's offended and she goes, excuse the fuck me, I'm not going anywhere, Dr. Jones. He knows better than to argue with her and accepts that she's in this for the long haul now. Gina pulls out the stone and hands it to Indy. Indy figures the nearest site on the Great Circle to them right now is in Siam, which is currently known as the Kingdom of Thailand.
Ah, okay.
Indy sets course for Sukhothai. Gina asks about Voss and if Voss has already gotten the stone there. And Indy says, oh, not a chance. There were 0 artifacts from Siam in the Vatican stronghold. That area is completely untouched, and this is where they can beat the Nazis. Indy compliments Gina's flying and is like, hey, you know what? You handled that really well. And she agrees. She's like, I handled that really well. Indy asks if she happens to know how to fly this plane that he's flying right now. She's surprised, and Indy explains, hey, you know what? It's fine. We might just have some issues with the landing. Indy gently crashes the plane in a field, and they take off to Siam via train and bus. They land in Sukhothai late at night. It's a rainy, humid evening where the moisture sticks to your skin. Immediately, there's a massive Italian fascist presence here in Sukhothai, so Indy and Gina resolve to earn the trust of locals and show they're not that kind of white people.
Yeah.
They do. And then, like, admittedly, it's a bit of virtue signaling of them being like, wow, we love local culture. We would do nothing to destroy this area and turn it into a parking lot, to be very clear.
We're not here for that.
A nice cat comes up to Indy, and he offers the cat his last bit of rations.
Oh.
The cat eats it and meows happily, and Indy is like, that was the last bit of food I had.
Oh.
I'm gonna fucking pass out.
But still, that was really kind of him.
Gina sees a hotel and offers to get them rooms. Indy tells her to keep a low profile and then goes to explore the village. He listens in on some of the fascists that Voss will handle some of the attacks, meaning both Italian and German forces are on site, and they're dealing with some attacks. Apparently, some of the local rebellion have been pushing back on the fascist invasion, which is punk as fuck.
Good.
Indy gets to the hotel where Gina's trying to check in. A few men are in the lounge discussing something they're planning. Indy goes to the phone and calls Marcus back at Marshall College. Indy left so suddenly to chase the cat mummy during midterms that he's like, hey, you guys good? Because, like, also, travel alone, he's been gone for multiple weeks.
Yeah.
You could not hop on a plane, like, that just goes this far. There's a lot of boats and, like, jeepneys and shit in there.
Yeah.
Last time they saw each other, Marcus actually warned him very specifically, you shouldn't go across the world to chase the cat because you have a job.
Right.
And this is bad. Now, Indy does get a hold of Marcus on the phone, and they catch up really quickly. Indy had sent a few telegrams to Marcus throughout the journey, and Marcus can confirm there are legends of something hidden in Sukhothai. The area is supposed to be haunted, and no one really knows where this secret lives in the jungle. Indy's very invested in haunted jungle adventures, as we know.
Is.
But Marcus derails his daydream. He tells him that the college administration is really ticked off that Indy left in the middle of midterms, and they've decided to fire him.
No.
What was the first thing you said? Were they going to do fire Indiana Jones?
I mean, he gets rehired.
Not here, girl.
Oh, okay.
Marcus takes this opportunity to say, I fucking told you so. And someone taps Indy on the shoulder. Indy waves them off and asks Marcus to clarify. I'm sorry, did you say the college is firing me? What, for abandoning my job suddenly with no warning in the middle of midterms for weeks with no end on date?
While I was in the middle of a nervous breakdown from my breakup?
That's why they fired me? The hand taps on Indy again, and he waves them off a second time. He tells Marcus that he can't stop now. He's in way too deep. What are they going to do, fire me again? Like,
right?
I'm going to deal with my life later. He has to stop the Nazis now. For a third time, the hand taps on Indy and, frustrated, spins him around. On the phone, Marcus says, I don't think I can protect you this time, Indiana. Indy is now face-to-face with Locus.
Oh, no.
Again, face to tummy. Locus is a giant and Indy is 6'1".
Right.
In English this time, for the first time, Locus says, where are the stones?
Oh, so you can speak it.
He's just like, what if I talked in Latin? To everyone I've ever encountered, except for this motherfucker, because I keep running. This is the third place I've run into him.
He clearly does not understand what I'm saying.
Indy tells Locus to ask Voss. He's the one that took them from the Vatican. Locus holds Indy in his big, meaty paws and says, last chance to leave. Life is precious, even yours. Echoing his statements from Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh my goodness.
Tom, so there's two properties that I can't stop thinking about. It's Indiana Jones, the first three, and it's Final Destination. When I tell you I felt this, I think I actually had to pause it so the cutscene wouldn't go on. I was just like, Oh no.
Wow. Like,
I played this on PlayStation, so I did play this after I had seen Final Destination Bloodlines, and I'd obsessed over how it had this moment of just speaking to everyone who joined him on these last decades of him scaring the shit out of the world and go, life is precious. Why is this the episode I'm crying in?
I know, right?
Amici and Hugo couldn't care less. Sibling relationships means nothing to me. Tony Todd saying, hey man, enjoy your life. Crumbled.
Because he sure as fuck did.
I crumbled, I tell you.
Love it.
Indy asked Locust if that's a threat. We had different reactions. Locust lets go of Indy and looks at him sternly. He answers, it's a kindness. Locust slips out of the hotel through a side door, and Indy goes to Gina. Gina has room keys and tells Indy, he looks white as a sheet. What happened? He decides to, I'm not going to say lie, because in like cheater court, this is just omitting.
Okay.
He decides to omit Locust's presence, and he also just doesn't tell her he got fired and says, oh, it's nothing.
Oh, not
I'm
mentioning
fine.
being fired. I mean, you guys aren't dating or anything, but...
But still, two very big life things just happened.
Yeah.
A giant threatened his life, and he got fired from his prestigious job. And he's like, I'm good.
Everything's fine. I'm fine. I'm not crying.
He's doing his own bit from Star Wars, going, I'm fine, we're fine, how are you? Indy and Gina go upstairs to check into their rooms. The rooms are next door to each other, and they both stand outside on the balcony at the same time. They stare out at the rain a little bit, and then Indy approaches, saying, hey, I'm so sorry about Laura. Gina's like, yeah, my life is forever changed, and I'll never be the same. But
that was like so long ago, Indy. Like, you're now saying it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think Indiana Jones is in touch with his feelings and communicating to an adult?
No wonder he got dumped.
You know,
Holy shit.
His girl left because he just up and left. Like,
his
can't,
job left because he up and left.
he can't commit to shit, Tom. You think he's like, oh, let me do an emotional check-in with my friend I'm traveling with.
God.
But she ends it with being like, all right, so what about you? And Indy says, well, I gotta start looking for a new job, I guess. Which is so breadcrumbing. Like,
It's...
well, I guess I gotta dust off my resume, and he tucks his hair behind his ears. It's just like, it's just so hard out here.
Did I tell you I was unemployed?
Gina asks if Indy has any family, and he starts to stutter about Marion, because at this point, he's still not talking to his dad. He knows it's his fault, but only says, she said I was obsessed with chasing the past and not following through on promises. And then he gives her big sad boy eyes.
Oh.
And it makes me so angry that he thinks about the relationship and he's like, how do I frame this? She said I was obsessive with chasing the past. And it's like, you are.
That's literally your entire life.
You have no way of admitting I let my career get ahead of my personal life. That's all you have to say. And that's something that happens to a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's like, she had a problem with me. You motherfucker. Gina says that, yeah, I figured you were just a heartless grave robber, but looks like you do have a heart. He walks closer to her side of the balcony and says, oh, what, so I'm just a grave robber then? Gina smiles and locks in. She says this through a smile, and she says, we all have our weaknesses.
Oh my God.
Indy tilts his head, as evidenced by his hat cocking to the right. The music swells as their heart rate quickens and their noses begin to tilt out of center so they can kiss, and then an explosion goes off. Gina hits the deck, and Indy braces himself. They head down to the lobby where they hear fascists outside, demanding everyone be outside. Inside the lobby are several rebels firing on the fascists. Indy says he and Gina can help, and he picks up one of the rebel firearms and just starts shooting. He's like,
God.
Again, I'm not one of them. One of the rebels gives Gina a gun as well, and they join the resistance. The fascists begin throwing Molotov cocktails at the hotel, attempting to burn it down.
Oh my God.
Indy and Gina help cover the rebels, who safely get two of them out of the hotel. They smuggle a man and a woman who wears an eye patch, and the group makes it down through some marsh into a small riverboat. Gina looks at the boat and says, are we going on the river? And here's my issue with Gina as a companion NPC. Sometimes she has lines, that are so fucking unnecessary. She's just asking them to just to say something.
She just likes the sound of her voice.
There are some people, and it's not always that. Sometimes, because she's asking questions, she wants to engage. Some people just want to fill the silence.
That's true, too.
And sometimes they just say things like, oh, look, there's a tree. Oh, hey, what are you doing on Tuesday? Tuesdays are cool, right? That's like the second Monday. They just say things, and they want you to engage. And I think she has a touch of this. And like, baby girl, we are fleeing a violent fascist attack. The soldiers tried to kill us. We followed these locals, these rebel leaders who've been navigating the fight against the fascism for much longer than you or I have. And you were like, oh, I see a boat in the water we're heading towards.
I wonder if we're getting on it.
Are we getting in the boat? No shit, Gina. The rebel leader with the eye patch says, yeah, we're going on the river, unless you'd prefer to swim. And Gina says, no, and gets on board.
I like swimming.
Indy gets on board too, and they slowly and quietly head down the river. In Thai, Indy thanks the rebel leader for their help. She is very impressed that he speaks their language and responds to him in English. She's kind of like, my English is better than your Thai, so I'll meet you in the middle. He tells her he knows just enough Thai to get himself into trouble, which is very flirty to say to someone else after you almost just kissed the other person you're with. Like, if you and I almost kiss and you turn around and you're like, what's up? Like, excuse me?
What are you doing?
Yeah. The leader tells Indy and Gina that a general who loves Mussolini allowed the fascists to enter Siam. She says that an arrogant German archaeologist made a deal with the general to start invading and digging up the jungle. And Indy says, oh my god, that's Voss. I know this guy. It's Emmerich Voss. And then quickly tells the rebel leader, I mean, like, I don't know him. I know of him. We are 100% not Nazis. I know you're very good with a gun. I can promise you that's not my ally.
That's not what I mean by no.
The rebel leader formally introduces herself as Palin, and Gina introduces herself and Dr. Jones. Palin is immediately disappointed that Dr. Jones is not a medical doctor and is instead a doctor of archaeology.
Nobody's ever made that mistake with Indiana Jones before. Yeah. I love that.
Well, she's like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. We have a couple kids who could use vaccines. What you got? He's like, I know rocks. And Palin goes, I am so sick of these fucking archaeologists rolling up in my town.
Why are there so fucking many all of a sudden?
Indy again reiterates he's not like Voss, and he tells her that he knows what Voss wants and he knows how to stop Voss from getting it. They approach the residential area of the village and duck down and quietly watch as Voss leaves the homes of one of the villagers. The villager offers Voss to use their fishing hut, but Voss declines because he hates it here. Voss is saying he knows some of the rebels destroyed a large incoming shipment of theirs. The shipment had gifts for their local general. One of the rebels that committed this act was spotted in this village, and he just wants to talk. The villager reiterates, nope, no rebels here. We love fascism. This is great. Things are going well. Voss is satisfied and turns to leave, disparaging the village and villagers on his way out. Once Voss is gone, Palin takes the boat out of hiding and greets the villager who just lied to Voss, her Uncle Sunan. Uncle Sunan asks who the new people are, and Palin introduces Gina and Indy as people who are friends and want to help. Palin goes to her uncle, who tells her, come on, Palin, stop attacking the fascists. It's getting too dangerous. Palin hits him with a, oh my god, fine, I'll stop blowing up the Nazis. Palin invites them both in for tea. The cat that Indy fed earlier meows at him.
Oh.
Familiar and friendly. They enter Uncle Sunan's home, and Palin is still a little suspicious. She wants to know what makes Indy different from Voss, and Indy explains that Voss is a Nazi who wants to use an ancient relic to drown the world in fascism, and he's a newly unemployed teacher who once taught a college course on Siamese artifacts in Connecticut. Palin is impressed by his respect for their culture, and her uncle is fearful of Voss, who he calls a liar and a killer. Uncle Sunan tells Indy and Gina they will consider helping if it prevents Voss from succeeding. Uncle Sunan steps towards Indy and tells him, but you know what? You need to prove yourself worthy of help before we commit to helping you. Palin steps away and comes back with a large ceramic jar. Indy asks what he needs to do to prove himself. Uncle Sunan brings Indy to the jar, which he calls the Jar of Terror. The Jar of Terror itself is cursed with magic, and inside the jar are your greatest fears manifested. He tells Indy to prove himself. He has to reach in, grab whatever is in the jar, and pull it out.
Oh no, we all know what that's going to be.
Palin stands behind the jar, arms crossed and eyes eye locked on Indy. She's the one with the eye patch.
Right.
Indy nods at Gina and walks to the jar. Palin takes the lid off the jar and tells Indy to prove himself. Indy looks down and through the darkness can make the outlines of snakes.
Oh.
He says, snakes. He's honestly just like a little mad that this jar is actually cursed with magic and like truly did deliver his greatest fear manifested immediately. He's like, are you fucking serious?
He's like, this actually worked? What the hell?
Can I take this to a museum, please? Indy grits his teeth, reaches in, and pulls out a pig intestine.
A what?
A pig intestine.
Ew.
Uncle Sinan and Palin laugh their fucking asses off. They are losing their minds. This is the funniest shit they've ever seen. And Uncle Sinan's like, oh my God, that's for the soup. Are you actually afraid of snakes?
They just pranked Indiana Jones.
They really did. And he not even really getting the snake contest. They're like, maybe this will work. And it 100% did. Indy feigns laughing with them and then turns, his face dropping to the ground as he rages silently. He gets over it and they gig and gag over tea. And Uncle Sinan tells them a story that he heard of the first person who arrived on a raft. A sky spirit had guided their way. They brought clams to the farm in the riverbed and raised a temple of stone. Inside the temple was the hidden blessed pearl, and the blessed pearl is protected by a giant. Uncle Sinan also had a run-in with a giant once. The giant struck him in the head, and he woke up in a strange secret temple with the giant, which sounds bad.
Yeah.
Uncle Sinan begged the giant to see the blessed pearl, and the giant showed him the blessed pearls in a chest that's shaped like a giant clam. Indy pulls out the stone artifact and says, oh, well, my guess is the blessed pearl looks something like this. Uncle Sinan leans in and looks at the stone, eyes wide with recognition and reverence. He hands the stone artifact back to Indy and tells him that he has proven himself. He promises to help Indy find the blessed pearl. He tells Indy it's somewhere in the swamp. Look for the giant. He's still guarding it. Indy sincerely thanks him. Palin tells Indy not to let him down. That's my uncle, and I love him. They sleep there, and in the morning, the fat and happy cat greets Indy. Palin has a boat secured for Indy so he can go gallivanting around the village at his leisure. Indy goes to get the boat set up, and Gina tags along, complaining that she doesn't feel safe on boats or being around water because she can't swim. Indy has regrets too, but goes on. I love this area so much. The game is open world to a point, and they have so many really fun side missions and secrets to be found. And aesthetically, the humid jungle is so beautiful. I think a lot of the NPC stories here are really cool. There's a handful of fascist camps you can pillage and plunder, and I think I did spend the most time in this area.
It sounds like a Far Cry almost.
Oh, there's a touch to it, especially as we ramp up and there's more like Nazi encampments within like recently infiltrated villages. Like in Giza, it's so fenced off where it's like Nazis here and not Nazis here.
Yeah.
But with this one, there's a bit more Far Cry to it, to your point, but you can't take over the bases. You just knock them all out.
It's just fascinating that like so far into the game, they opened it up like this.
It is open to a point, but I think there's the most fun side missions in this one.
Okay, cool.
Like, Shanghai is not very open. It's a very short mission. You're mostly in a plane, but like,
Okay.
but with Giza and with the Vatican, you can explore a little more, and there's a lot of hidden secrets. But this one feels the most open as
That's
you're
pretty
going
cool.
through. I would be so sad if I didn't gush on a quick hidden Wolfenstein Easter egg I found here. Now, stay with me. There's a side quest called Lost in the Past where essentially Indy starts tripping balls and he gets trapped inside Marshall College.
Oh, really?
This side quest has been heavily compared to PT because of the structure of the level.
Oh.
You're essentially going around in a circle, going deeper, deeper, deeper. It's crazy. There's a few Easter eggs here. Like, there's a poster for a dance where Willie Scott is performing.
Okay.
And she's the blonde in Temple of Doom.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, 'cause she's like a singer and an actress. This is one of her starting gigs.
And he'd already seen her at that point.
But my favorite Easter egg here is that there's a skull you can interact with, like a human skull. Indy picks up the skull and says, "For in that sleep, what dreams may come." And the skull is labeled in your HUD as Erowik, which makes this the skull from Hamlet.
Okay.
And in Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, BJ Blazkowicz also can find a skull and say, "Alas, poor Erowik."
That's right. Yeah, there's a Hamlet reference in both. Oh, that's great.
I am embarrassed at how excited I was about this. But I am proud to say I figured out the Machine Game's signature in their franchises now.
That's true.
You always got to talk to Erowik and check in with your boy.
That's true.
Indy and Gina go exploring and find a statue dedicated to a giant in front of a large wall. Indy jumps out of the boat and swims under the wall through an opening. He swims for a bit and finds a massive skeleton, confirming, "Yep, there's a giant." Past the giant, Indy finds a puzzle which he solves. It opens the door to the river, and Gina's able to rejoin him. Indy gets in the boat, and they go to the secret area past the hidden locked door. It's a clearing on the river with a temple in the middle of the water. Gina sees the outline of a giant man walking at the temple and locks in to look on. A small snake lands on Indy after falling out of a vine. Indy screams at Gina to get the fucking snake off of him. Gina pulls the snake off of him and throws it into the river. And Indy says, "Oh my god, that was a really big snake." And then he loses his voice. He's just like, "Oh my god, I can't."
He fully breaks.
Well, he looks up and up and up at a massive black snake.
Oh no.
A giant one protecting the temple, if you will. Indy fucking hates it here. I cannot emphasize enough how big this snake is. It's easy like 8 or 9 feet across.
Oh my god.
Like just the width of it. This shit is gigantic. Slowly they guide the boat closer to the secret hidden temple. To get into the temple, Indy has to swim through the river and evade the snake while unlocking puzzle gates. He hates this so much.
This is the scariest thing he's ever done in his life.
He thinks he's in a saw trap. Gina stands out by the boat and Indy heads into the secret temple. It's so massive, he out loud says, "I didn't expect this." The tower goes deep into the ocean and feels cavernous from where Indy's standing. The whole place is narrow and tall. Vines are overgrown through the temple. There are carvings on the wall and a Damek, so Indy knows he's at least in the right place. The big-ass snake slithers back into the walls of the temple, and as Indy traverses across, it finds him and snaps its jaws at Indy.
Ugh.
Indy throws a spear into the gaping mouth of the giant snake and defeats it. The snake is injured badly and slithers away, opening up a wall as it does. Indy goes, "Yeah, you better run." And he also resolves, the only good snake is a dead snake. He goes through the tower and comes out on top, just above the waterline. He sees Gina and pulls her up so she can accompany him going forward. Gina says, "Oh, thank God that snake didn't eat you." Indy is also thanking God that the snake didn't eat him. They go into the temple together and find a door that requires them both to turn handles simultaneously to enter. This 2-person chamber is a game room. There's a board game in the center of the room that has to do with moving game pieces that result in the turning of other artifacts. The goal is to get the artifacts to face a certain direction, so Indy moves the game pieces around on the grid table to solve the puzzle.
It's just all games. That's what their big secret trap was.
It is tricks!
Yeah.
Indy solves the puzzle, and a statue along the wall begins to move, revealing a map etched into the wall. It appears to be of Sukhothai with a Damek in the center. Indy realizes, oh shit, this is the map to the stone. He steps back to take a picture, because it'll last longer, while Gina gloats that they're going to beat Voss to the stone. The statue begins to move back to hide the map again, and the doors to the game room open. Indy asks Gina what she did, of which she did nothing, and their tension is cut with a voice. Locust tells them, knowledge is a curse. It only brings death. Gina says, "Oh no!" She has so much dialogue, and the best you could do was, "Oh no."
She states the obvious so often. You could at least say, "Oh no, the giant."
Yeah. "Oh no, help us." Locust walks his big ass into the game room and tells Indy, "I warned you." He weighs his options, and Indy agrees, saying, "You know what? You did, and darn it, you win. I'm going to give you what you want, and it's just right here." Indy fakes reaching into his bag and then punches Locust. Which is just, it's a trick. Come on. Gina picks up a large rock and throws it at Locust. She doesn't have a good arm, and the rock falls just shy of Locust's feet. The rock does, however, shift the bricks Locust is standing on, and the floor underneath him gives out. Locust falls straight down into the temple, and Indy falls down just after him. Gina keeps her footing and doesn't fall down, instead asking if Indy's okay. He says he's doing great and lands in knee-deep water facing Locust. Locust is not doing great. He is actually very upset.
Having a terrible time.
Locust tells Indy it's his duty to protect the stones, and he has to stop Indy. So they fight. I hit a game glitch on the PS5 version of this where no matter how many times I hit Locust, He didn't take any damage, and the battle went on forever.
Oh no.
I looked it up, and a few people had this same game glitch, and I had to just go back and restart it. I was like,
really?
how is his, I was like, there's got to be something environmental that I have to pull to trap him, but my first round, I worked on this battle for just under 20 minutes.
No, and did no damage during that.
My second round lasted about 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
Start to finish on the entire fight.
Holy shit, that would be so frustrating.
It's one of those things where I was just like, well, maybe I've got to be close.
Right.
Locust and Indy brawl it out, with Locust telling Indy to drop it and give up, and Indy saying, well, I'm not a Nazi. Don't you like that I'm not a Nazi? Isn't that great? Let me have the ancient teleportation relic. Their back and forth is broken up by Indy stuttering for Locust to look behind him. The snake is back.
Oh god, the giant snake.
The massive giant snake rears its head at Indy and Locust. Locust throws Indy across the battle arena where he goes underwater, under the belly of the beast. The snake's body holds Indy underwater, and when he comes up, he sees Locust wrapped around his head, trying to strangle the snake.
Oh my god.
He's trying to get him in like a headlock.
That's amazing.
Indy finds a spear on the ground underwater and goes to it, grabbing it and throwing it at the snake. The spear goes into the snake, and while Locust wrestles with it, eventually overpowering it and slamming its head down on a rock.
Locust wins this fight?
He does. He's big.
Holy shit.
Indy and Locust are exhausted, but Indy still tries to punch Locust. Cheap shot. Locust catches the punch and turns Indy around, giving him a big bear hug and holding him still. Indy flaps his tiny little arms around and demands to know what the stones are used for. Locust tells Indy, you need to know nothing. This doesn't fucking concern you. Gina, by this point, has climbed down to see them and says, hey, you two, you're acting like little schoolboys.
Oh my god.
Voss is expecting you two to fight, and while you two are fighting, he's gonna steal the stones. Locust drops Indy, who crumbles into the shallow water, gasping for air. Locust tells her, I must protect the words. I must atone for my ancestors. Gina screams, oh, for God's sake, who fucking cares? She yells at both of them now, saying, you're both stuck in the past, and right now there's a great evil spreading throughout the world, and we can choose to fight against it or each other. Her inspirational speech wraps up, and Locust tells her plainly, I have no choice. Before he can explain further, Indy picks up a rock and hits Locust in the head hard, knocking him out.
Damn.
He looks up at Gina and tells her, that was a great distraction. Gina is annoyed and tells him, I was being serious. I meant what I said. I was actually trying to communicate to you. Annoyed, she gives up and tells Indy they should leave. They leave Locust in the temple and head back to the village. Palin connects with Indy, saying she's heard of another archaeology excavation led by a blonde-haired lady with a team of fascists. Indy is like, oh my god damn it, not another one. They're excavating with explosives, destroying the jungle in the name of finding one stone. Indy promises Palin he'll look into it. Indy checks out the excavation to see it's led by a former student of his.
Oh.
Who was happy to work for the Nazis just to get the experience.
The blonde one?
Her name is Anika, and she's a piece of shit.
Oh.
As is anyone who helps the Nazis in any timeline, game, or reality.
Truth.
Indy is disappointed in her, and while they navigate the temple, she gets herself killed in a trap.
Oh no.
Good riddance. Eat shit.
Bye.
Indy checks in with Uncle Sunan and shows him the picture of the map that he took from the giant temple. Uncle Sunan thinks he knows the area the map is showing and sends Indy off to a temple. Indy takes Gina and they head to a temple based on Uncle Sunan's directions. There's a pack of fascists here, so it's very important to be sneaky. Now, while there's heavy fascist presence, none of them appear to have found an entrance into the secret chambers. Gina, of all people, finds an Adamic carving that Indy studies. The carving matches the one on the map, and Indy is pleased that Gina found it. And she says, oh, maybe I should have been an archaeologist. And he tells her not to get ahead of herself, because he can't let anyone have any fun. They move the carving, and it reveals a drop into a secret entrance to the temple, and they head on in. It's dark and full of vines and humidity, but Indy and Gina find a big, wide room. In the center is the game. The same game they saw in the last puzzle.
These guys love games.
Instead of moving around game pieces, though, this is human-sized. They'll need a small group of people to stand in the right places to unlock the puzzle to proceed.
Like Harry Potter.
Yes!
Oh my god.
They leave, explain themselves to the village, and Uncle Sunan leads the team back to the hidden temple. Uncle Sunan looks out over the game board and then back at Indy and tells him, the blessed pearl is here. Indy looks over the game board, the whole room, and instructs people to stand on specific stones to trigger the puzzle. Indy solves the game by placing the villagers around the board, and as he does, a vine-covered wall cracks in half, revealing a secret entrance.
That's a cool one.
Gina thanks Palin for her and her whole family's help. Palin tells her to get Voss the fuck out of her land. That'll be thanks enough.
We hate these damn archaeologists.
Palin's so fucking cool. She's like, I do not care about your emotions. Get these fucking freaks out of here. Indy goes into the secret entrance head first. Palin tells him not to break his legs. He tells her not to worry. He does this all the time. All the time.
Constantly.
Gina tells him to be careful, and Indy begs her to please just stay there, and he promises he'll be right back. He does not want her to follow him. Indy climbs through the temple, navigating moats of leeches and tricky performer jumps, and makes it to a chest that's shaped like a giant clam, just like Uncle Sunan described. There's Adamic markings on the platform it's on. A small statue of a god is on the platform as well. Indy goes to it and flips through Laura's notes for clues on how to read Adamic here. He barely tries before saying, you know what, fuck this, and smashes the small statue. The stone comes out of the remains of the statue. The temple begins to self-destruct. Indy says, well, I better get going, because he's a sweet Midwestern boy, and rushes out of the collapsing temple. He tears ass back to the entrance and back to the villagers. Gina's been waiting for him where he left her, and he screams at her to get out and get the villagers out. The temple's coming down. Gina leads everyone out, and Indy gets trapped behind, having to swim his way out of the temple. Indy comes up for air and looks up to see Gina. He tells her, I did it, and he produces the stone from his jacket. Gina bends down and says, I'm so sorry, Dr. Jones. I wasn't fast enough. She takes the stone and stands, walking backwards to hand it to Locust. Locust palms the stone from Gina. Indy pulls himself out of the water fully, and he's gasping for air. Locust stares Indy down and says, okay, and the other one? Indy wholeheartedly and earnestly goes, what other one? Locust opens up his big-ass hand and begins to place it around Gina's neck. Indy says, oh, okay, you got me. And he just hands over the stone to Locust. He holds the stones and says to them, a life of ignorance is a blessing. I envy you, little man. Indy is 6'1".
Everyone's little to him, though.
This is honestly objectively funny. So we hear laughter tear through the jungle. After shitting bricks and laughing their asses off, Voss says, the giant is correct. You are a pathetic little man. Voss is armed with a gun and is flanked by several fascists. Indy correctly says, rather be little than be a Nazi.
Fair.
Voss turns his attention to Locust, seeing that Locust has 2 stones, including one from Machu Picchu. He looks at Gina and asks if she had a good reunion with her sister in the Himalayas. Gina tells him to go to hell. Voss says, ugh, that's a shame she didn't make it. I was growing really fond of her. Then he announces an open fire on Gina, Indy, and Locust. The fascists fire off and Voss shoots Locust in the shoulder, causing him to drop the stones. Locust picks up a massive stone slab and uses it as a shield to go back and give coverage to Indy and Gina. Locust tells Indy to take and protect the stones. Voss tells his men to use every bullet, but the stone slab holds. Locust slowly navigates them out of the line of fire, but they end up in a dead end. Voss brings his fascists with him and orders an open fire on the corner they're hiding in. Locust, Gina, and Indy press themselves together under an overhang as hard as they can to avoid the incoming bullets. The fascists open fire, and then some fall down. Palin, who was nearby after the whole fucking thing, heard them coming, grabbed guns, and came with backup.
Oh, damn.
The village rebellion rages on here,
Hell yeah.
taking down the fascists who have been destroying their home.
Fuck these archaeologists.
Palin has the biggest grudge against people who study history. Palin goes straight to where she saw Indy hiding, nods at Indy, nods at Gina, and then looks fucking horrified at Locust because she didn't know giants were real. Indy assures her Locust is okay, and he tells her he's with us. Palin just nods because that's all she's got in her right now. She tells them about a boat stashed nearby and promises to keep the fascists busy here. They thank her and quickly hustle out of the temple. The group make it to the river and the boat, and they head out. Hidden inside a fruit basket on the boat is a bunch of rifles. Like a catch-a-full-ass charge amount of rifles. The fascists had anticipated a watery exit and have trucks all along the river, firing on the boat. There is one fascist that has an NPC line that made me laugh so fucking hard because while he's firing at these people, he yells out, unironically, "For Mussolini!"
Oh my god.
Which is such a crazy thing to yell when you're taking this direction from Voss, and
For another person is always insane.
you're so weird. Indy shoots at the fascist, and Gina's like, "So Locust, I hear you're on our team now." Like, she's making small talk. He explains the stones can't be used by that creature Voss. Total, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit.
Definitely.
Gina speeds the boat through the river and at one point jumps out of the river, skids across the land, and goes back into the river.
Holy shit.
Locust says, "I did not know boats could do that."
That's supposed to.
Gina tells him she's happy he's on their side now, and he tells her, if we are to recover the stones, we must work together. And he really just kind of keeps reminding her he's not trying to add to the roster. He's like, this is a work relationship. We don't need a bond.
Yeah.
The river begins to lead to a massive blockage of branches and thorns in the water. It's fully enough to destroy this tiny boat. Locust holds Gina and jumps and tells Indy to get out of the boat. They all go underwater and swim just under the branches and thorns, coming out on the other side of the river. The river leads to an abrupt waterfall, and Indy catches a branch just before he goes over. He looks down at the base of the waterfall, where Gina is being taken in by fascists. On the shore, they throw Gina down while she catches her breath. Voss comes out to see her and says, "Not the best swimmer, are you, Miss Lombardi?" He offers her his hand to help her up. She stands alone and says, "Laura must have fucking despised you. How'd you get her to obey your orders?" Voss shrugs and tells her, "What if I merely aroused your sister's relentless obsession with her research? People like your sister would gladly compromise their principles for an opportunity to indulge in their fascinations. In fact, some will even give their lives." He steps closer to Gina, and she can't help but try to punch him. Voss's fascist gooners hold her back. He takes a big step back and looks at her, amused the way you would feel when you look at an animal in the zoo. Then, amused with himself, he comes to her. He's thought of something clever to say. He leans in and says, "The gullible little sister." Voss raises his eyebrows, ready for her to laugh. She kicks him in the balls as he grabs his spatula and kneels over. Gina says, "You disgust me." Indy climbs up on his branch, finally seeing the fascists leave the area. Voss catches his breath and tells Gina, "What if all I had to do to bend her will was to threaten her family?" And then he blows Gina a kiss. She calls him a bastard and tries to rush Voss again, but he walks away while she's in fascism custody.
God, this guy's great with just how he like uses people's like families and like their personal lives against them.
I love how he's written. He's
Yeah.
so scary. I'd love for him to cross over into Wolfenstein. Like, before leaving, Voss commands his remaining gooners find Dr. Jones. No one's seen Locust and no one's really following up on him.
And how does he stay out of sight?
Bitch, right? Gina's taken off to a second location while Indy goes to sneak away from the fascists. He gets as far as he can from the waterfall, and then he hears Voss's voice and Gina's voice. He crawls through a small tunnel clearing and follows them from below them. The small tunnel clearing opens up into temple walls. Indy squeezes through and looks around and is reunited with Locust. Locust asks, "Where is your friend?" And Indy tells Locust that Voss took her. He pulls his stones out of his pocket and holds them in front of Locust. He pleads with Locust, saying, "I have to get her back." Locust doesn't hesitate when he says, "Then we go." Locust starts walking into the jungle, just like stands and is like, "That's my direction, I'm off." Indy puts the stones away and says, "Okay, then we go." Locust and Indy are on a red line map crossing over the Arabian Sea, the Gulf of Oman, hiking through the Middle East. They land in Iraq at the Ziggurat of a massive structure that dates back to the early Bronze Age. This area has been fenced off by the Nazis. Even though Locust and Indy have been traveling for probably like a week or so, they choose now to recap what they've learned for plot reasons.
In case you haven't been paying attention.
They look out at the entire Nazi occupation around the Ziggurat of Indy confirms, okay, this is the last spot on the Great Circle. Let's go rescue Gina and get that stone. Locust looks out at the monument and picks now to tell Indy something very important. He tells Indy, "Okay, man, there's more here than just the stone.
Of course there is.
Indy asks, okay, what is it? And Locust ignores him. Indy complains that it's not that hard to communicate, which is fucking rich coming from Indiana Jones. But they're silenced when they hear Gina crying. Voss is yelling at her to stop crying as they move her across the encampment. Voss has her locked up in an office and looks up out at the night sky. Voss barely misses seeing Locust, Big Ass, and Indy, who duck behind a rock. Indy tells Locust they have too many guards. Locust takes this in and starts whistling. He whistles a bird sound and moves his fingers like he's playing a flute, which I don't think you have to do when you whistle.
Nope.
Indy is concerned Locust is experiencing a mental health episode. A moment later, a matching bird song whistle echoes back through to Locust. Locust looks down at Indy and says, "My people have come."
Oh my god.
Locust stands fully and just walks slowly to leave. Indy is so confused he's angry. He asks, "What people? What aren't you telling me?" Locust tells Indy, "This place is sacred and dangerous. Once the guards are gone, find your friend and leave."
Once the guards are gone, they're just going to take care of this.
Hell yeah. Indy nods seriously and repeats, "Get the girl, get out. Got it. What about you?" Locust says plainly, "Do not worry about me. Just go. Do not look back." Locust walks down toward the encampment, leaving Indy a few paces behind, completely perplexed. Indy watches Locust punch a Nazi in the head and not break his stride. He goes to the edge, and there are a few other giants. Locust greets them in Latin and tells them to attack. The giants roll up on the Nazis and cause the most chaotic alarm to go off. Indy just says, "All right, hang in there, Gina," and he does his best to follow what Locust asked of him. Indy dodges the chaos of a full lockdown due to an attack by giants to get the girl and get out.
That is the wildest announcement.
Alarm! There's giants now! Indy finds the office where Gina is being held and breaks in to save her. She's relieved to see him and he gets her free. She asks what's happening outside and what the game plan is. Indy ignores the first question, because how do you jump into our giant bestie calls his giant army and now they're stomping out the Nazis?
Yeah.
So he just says, "I'm here to save you." Gina stands up, finally free after being in captivity for like a week, and says to Indy, "I don't need to be saved." Bitch, you had a bucket.
You absolutely do.
Indy does not have time for this. He points at the door and says, "We have to get out of here." And she says, "No.
What?
We can't just leave now. We have to go after Voss." Indy is exasperated and says, "I can't lose you." Gina rolls her eyes and asks, "Don't you want to know what this is all about?" And with that, Indy says, "Fuck my promise to the giant. You're goddamn right I want to know what this is all about." And we're off.
Oh, that's all it took.
Yeah, it's like a, "Come on." And he was like, "You're right."
Yeah, I do want to know what the answer is.
Fuck my promise. Indy and Gina get ready to leave the office and start going full sneaky sneaks. Indy says the shooting has stopped, and Gina asks if that's a good thing. They approach the ziggurat and sneak their way inside, taking out Nazis along the way. Inside, they take an elevator deep into the ziggurat, where there's been a massive evacuation from the Nazis. Down here, they find the bodies of some of the giants, but not Locust. Gina is surprised Indy is relieved to not see Locust and asks if they're friends now. Indy protests and then realizes, yes, they are friends now. Gina and Indy get through a massive doorway and see what Voss has been after this whole time. Do you have a guess?
I mean, at this point,
It's Christian coded.
it's Christian coded?
Yes.
Okay, that hasn't been found?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say the crown of Christ.
He had a crown?
Yeah, the crown of thorns. Like,
When I tell you,
famously.
my dumbass was like in the Louvre? No, you idiot. They find the Ark.
The Ark. Noah's Ark?
Inside the ziggurat, deep
Wait, hold on.
miles and legions under the earth, is the wooden ship that once belonged to Captain Noah.
Captain Noah.
Was he not a captain?
He was, but like, honestly, I was thinking of the Ark earlier when the Nazi ship was in the mountains.
Oh, you're like, how'd this boat get here? What's that about?
Because they did find an Ark in the mountains at one point in like the Himalayas somewhere.
That was Uncharted 1.
No, this is like real life. This is
Oh,
real life.
What?
Yeah, no, they fully found like what they believed was Noah's Ark in the Himalayas once.
Shut the fuck up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really big in the 90s. It was a huge deal. I don't know what happened after that because like it was kind of, like I said, they found like a massive fucking ship.
And they just moved on. They're like, damn, that's crazy. Now let's go back to cloning this fucking sheep.
Yeah, so like I'm curious like if that had some inspiration here because like I didn't want to bring that up earlier, but now that we actually see the fucking Ark, I'm like, wait, hot damn.
No,
this
you
is
were
crazy.
Right. Yeah. Along the sides of the Ark are hanging Nazi flags. Gina can't believe her eyes while seeing Noah's Ark. She turns around and asks Indy, is it real? And he's like, babe, we're looking at it. He pulls them down behind a railing to hide and tells her, this wasn't stranded. This was placed here deliberately a long time ago. Gina asks what Noah's Ark has to do with the stones, and Indy admits he has no idea yet, but he needs to find the stones before Voss figures it out.
Probably worth a lot of money.
The Ark?
Yeah, to somebody.
Oh, I mean, you know what he's going to say.
It belongs in
the museum.
It's the size of one, first off.
How funny would it be to have that at like the Met in New York? Just on top, fuck it. Like, or on the Getty where it's hanging off of the
side of the mountain.
Yeah, just right off. It'd be fucking sick, I'm not gonna lie. Indy looks over at the area and sees a tent that leads into the Ark. He realizes he has 2 stones, the very thing Voss needs. So Indy gives Gina the stones and tells her to stay back and protect the stones. She protests because she wants to come along, and Indy gives her the context that, hey man, I can't walk into the bad guy's lair with the only thing he needs for his evil plan. Before he leaves, Gina asks Indy, what if you don't come back? Indy smiles and tells her, then you'll have one hell of a story to tell.
Aw.
That's not a fucking answer. Indy goes down into the tent that leads into the Ark. He makes a good distance, then he sees Locust on the ground and stops. He runs to Locust, who is tied up and unconscious, but is alive. Indy tells him, I'm gonna get you out of this, pal. From over his shoulder, Indy hears Voss say, I will admit, Dr. Jones, I wasn't expecting the giants to strike.
I mean, who was? Whoever expected the fucking giants to strike?
He hits this like a Bond villain, though. He's like, Dr. Jones, I wouldn't have expected the giants. Like, he's so silly. Indy is startled that he gets caught, and Voss pulls his pistol on Indy and says, the giants gave him quite a headache, which is like, homie, just admit.
He's just gonna keep going with this.
Voss pulls Indy's gun off of him, and Indy asks what he did to Locust. And Voss tells Indy a little horse tranquilizer did the trick. And then I started laughing because I was like, oh my god, he's in a K-hole.
He did ketamine.
Locust is freaking out. With Indy at gunpoint, Voss asks if Indy is impressed. Voss says, this is a crazy fucking line. Voss says, you found the Ark of the Covenant, sure, but I found Noah's Ark. Mine's bigger.
Oh my god. Well, he's a Nazi. He definitely heard about that whole situation.
He was CC'd on that memo and was like, yo, we lost another one.
I'll find a bigger Ark.
What happened? Melted. Indy is not impressed and asks Voss how he knows if this is the real one, which is stupid. Look at the fucking boat.
Yeah.
And Voss laughs and calls Indy petty, and he invites him to his table and offers to put the guns down. Indy tells him to go ahead, take his gun. He's still gonna find a way to knock his teeth out. Voss doesn't laugh at this, but still does put the guns down. Voss turns to Indy and says, fair warning, I have mastered the lethal Japanese hand-to-hand combat art of karate.
Karate. I mean, karate's a real, like, martial arts and everything, and, like, I would not fuck with somebody.
This is different.
Oh.
It's karate. This got memed to death for, like, a good couple weeks. But I'm not gonna lie, it's funny every time he says it.
Granted, back then it was probably exotic as shit.
Karate. Voss gives Indy an alternative to karate and says, or I could have my guards shoot you. Indy puts his hands down, silently agreeing to the karate option. Voss asks Indy what he knows about the myth of the Great Flood. Indy is so that guy that you do not want to open this fucking can of worms
Right.
with. And he goes, oh, which one? There's so many great flood myths to choose from. There's the classic from the Hebrew Bible. There's the Sumerian myth, the Great Flood of China. And then he just keeps naming a bunch of historical floods. As he does this, he picks up a small hammer and fiddles with it. Voss eventually cuts him off when Indy starts naming the heroes of the floods and tells him, okay, shut up. They're all pointing to the same real event. I'll tell you everything I know, and then we can knock each other's teeth out. Voss leads Indy into an adjoining tent so they can sit and talk. As they go, Indy leaves the hammer, and this made me so angry. I was like, you
what
picked up
the
that
fuck?
fucking
Why
thing.
did you even bother picking it up?
Come on, man. In the next room, Voss brings out an old piece of art from North Africa that depicts the flood myth and how it relates to the Great Circle. Voss says, the voice of God came down to instruct a mortal man, let's call him Noah, to build a giant vessel, the ark. The voice of God gave Noah 17 stones, all with the power to fold the earth. 17 stones, 17 words, each one connected to one of the places along the Great Circle. Noah used the stones to gather animals from all over the world, and after the flood was over, repopulate the earth. The stones were left hidden at each of the spots along the Great Circle under the protection of the giants. But some legends blamed the Great Flood on the giants, so they needed redemption. But over time, the stones were lost, stolen, forgotten. The giants formed an alliance with the Vatican to seek out and find the stones again, to keep them from men like us. Indy listens and corrects him. The giants formed an alliance with the Vatican to keep the stones safe from men like Voss. Voss asks Indy where Gina is. He tells Voss, oh, Gina's long gone. Voss says, oh, that's a shame. He has something she would want to hear. Voss goes over to audio equipment and plays a recording of Gina's sister, Laura Lombardi. She's sending an audio message to Voss, and she says, Voss, if you're hearing this, your experiment failed spectacularly. The ship is stranded on a mountain. The captain wants me to perform the experiment again to get us back to safety, but I refuse. I'd rather die with the stone than let you have it. We see Gina pick up a pistol from a table and enter the tent, just out of sight of Voss and Indy. The recording ends with Laura Lombardi saying the same thing Gina said to Voss, I hope you burn in hell. Voss turns off the equipment and says, oh, what a preposterous woman, and now she's dead. For what? Gina enters the scene loudly from the shadows, gun cocked and drawn on Voss, and she tells Voss, you'll never understand. Voss turns with his hands up and says, oh, I'm sorry, Gina. I lied to you. She tells him to go to hell and pulls the trigger. The gun clicks, and nothing happens.
Haha.
Voss laughs and says out loud, you can come in now. Fascist soldiers enter the tent and apprehend Gina and Indy.
Oh.
They search Indy and Gina and take the stones. Voss goes to Indy and tells him, your weakness for the fairer sex has caused you to make so many questionable decisions.
So many. That's completely beside the point. What are you talking about?
He just wants him to hurt. Voss takes the stones and places them in a briefcase with all the other stones. He's pleased to have a full set. Indy warns him that he's messing with powers beyond his control. Voss takes Indy's whip and says, oh, you should know by now, Indiana Jones. I am always in control. Voss has one of his fascists punch Indy and it knocks him out. Voss has 4 locomotive trains that pull the Ark out of the ziggurat and into Lake Hammer. The Nazis on board have brought Locust, Gina, and Indy on board as well and have them tied back to back on deck. They're awake and stirring, completely trapped on the Ark. Voss sees they're awake and goes to Indy, telling him to pay attention because he's about to watch history. Voss holds Indy's whip, taunting him. Voss moves to Gina and kneels and says, like your dead sister found out, using one stone is unpredictable, completely useless for warfare. That's why we needed all the stones. Voss stands up and goes to the helm of the Ark. In the helm, in the wheel, there's 17 divots made perfectly for each of the stones.
Oh, damn.
Voss announces to his fascists and his captives that placing the stones into the helm of the Ark and saying the correct words in the correct order will grant him the power to travel to any location he wants in an instant.
I hate that it makes a weird kind of sense. Like the way they explained it of like, it's for the purposes of repopulating the earth.
So you need things from all across the earth.
And that's what, like, that was his mission during like the water part of his journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, okay, I kind of get the whole like reasoning for it. I hate it, but I get it.
My dumbass was like, didn't Jonah have the ark?
No.
For like 10 minutes. And then I was like, no, Jonah got eaten by a fish, babe.
By a whale, yeah. Maybe
So-
during the flood. I don't know the shit very well.
But I do trust you to have an insight on if this makes sense or not.
It made a weird kind of sense, yeah.
Locus is so disappointed in everyone. He whispers to himself, 17 stones, 17 words. Voss walks closer to the captives and says, a gift from God to Noah, and now to me, which is a stretch. Voss monologues about how amazing this is for the Nazis, how they can plunge the world into fascism in an instant. He addresses Gina, saying, and you know what? When you write about this, remember, it's Emmerich Voss with 2 M's and 2 S's, like SS.
Yeah.
I hate that line so much.
Yeah. And also, hey, he's going to let her live.
Voss goes back to the helm and begins placing the stones in the correct place and saying their Adamic words. Locus is scared and shaking, whispering to himself in Adamic. Voss is locked the fuck in. Gina starts shaking her head and Indy asks what the fuck she's doing. And she whispers, my hairpin. She knocks her hairpin off and triggers the tiny knife that Indy showed her about.
Oh, shit.
Gina starts trying to get herself cut free. Indy screams at Voss to stop, and he tells him Noah was personally handpicked by God. You weren't.
Yeah.
Voss ignores him and places every stone in every place and finishes the ritual. It's quiet for a moment, and then a wave of relief floods Indy, Gina, and Locus. Indy waits for a truly humiliating amount of time to pass, and then asks Voss, hey, buddy, what did you think would happen? Voss is mortified. He can't move. And then he notices a raindrop lands on his lip. The rain begins to pour hard and heavy, and the helm begins to spark with lightning. The rain hits so bad the fascists start to fall off, and Indy's hat flies away.
Oh, no.
The lightning bolts begin to hit the ark directly, taking out some of the fascist soldiers, which is always awesome.
That's fine.
Voss goes to Locus and asks what is happening. Locus responds in Latin, saying, the flood has come. Voss screams and pumps his fists in anger. Gina gets free and Indy tells her to cut Locus free first. Voss turns to them and blames Indy. What the fuck? He points at Indy and says, you did this, Jones. You sabotaged my experiment. Indy explains, no, dumbass, I was tied up the whole fucking time. This is your doing.
I watched you do this.
Voss yells, lies. Everything was perfect. Gina gets Locus free and moves on to start cutting Indy's ropes. Voss turns and yells at them that he can't wait to kill them all. Locus stands and starts knocking out fascists. Gina gets Indy free and then gets stabbed by a fascist.
Oh, no.
Locus is shot twice and he falls to his knees. Voss screams at Indy. It's just the two of them now standing. Voss says, you're not going anywhere. And he shows Indy his extensive training in the lethal Japanese hand-to-hand combat art of karate. Voss and Indy fight in the middle of the storm, and Voss legit hits like a few chops and kicks like he's giving a little Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Voss still has Indy's whip and will lasso Indy closer at points in the fight.
No, not his own weapon.
It's so fun. Hey, Tom, what do you
that's
tell me
right.
about superheroes? Real quick.
I know, but still, it's crazy.
Voss screams about how Indy is jealous of him. Voss lassos Indy's hands together and whips him down to the ground and says, it's time you admit, Indiana, I won. It's quiet for a moment, and a wave floods the ark. A bolt of lightning hits the helm, and it starts glowing. Voss gets washed away with the wave and drops the whip, which Indy now reclaims.
Nice.
He goes to Gina, but Voss pops up, grabs one end of the whip, and falls down the side of the ark. Indy gets pulled back with him, and the whip catches on a piece of wood sticking out of the ark. The two men hang there, Voss and Indy both hanging on to opposite ends of the whip, suspended by a beam of the ship. They continue their boss battle here, literally one arm and flailing around in the rain. Voss catches his breath and says, I warned you, Indiana. I know karate. And he hits it like that every time. So I can hit it like that every time. Voss makes a chop and goes to chop at Indy. Indy kicks at Voss, and Voss tells him, "It's just you and me, Jones, at the end of the world." Indy kicks at Voss, and Voss chops and kicks it. It's so fucking stupid seeing him chop.
Chop, kick, like we're in fucking Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah. My brain went to fucking Austin Powers. When he goes, karate chop. Sometimes when Voss hits Indy, this made me laugh. He congratulates himself and says, "That was a perfect strike." Who are you doing this for? Gina gets free from the fascist that was holding her and goes to Indy, offering him a hand back up on the ark. Indy takes her hand and looks at Voss, releasing the whip from his other hand. Voss is shocked and falls into the depths of the flood of Lake Hammer, but the whip catches on something and he begins to climb up.
Oh.
This motherfucker. The helm is glowing with lightning, electricity surging through its ancient body. Locust goes to the helm, his body big enough to stretch all the way around it, and he grabs one of the arms of the wheel. The lightning breaks into his skin. He grabs the other arm of the hull and screams as the lightning begins to move through him.
Oh my god.
Gina and Indy get on the dock and run from the edges. Voss has climbed up and is at the edge of the ark, and he looks up at Locust, glowing bright from the storm. Voss gets up and he goes to the helm on the other side of Locust, so the helm is between them and they're facing each other. Voss tells Locust to go away. Locust tells him to move. Voss blames the storm on Locust, and Locust tells him it's his last chance to move. The whole helm is practically on fire with electricity, and Locust tells Voss he tried to warn him. Voss screams that this is his ark, and the electricity surging through the stones, through the helm, through Locust, enter Voss.
Oh.
Lightning pours out of his mouth, out of his fingertips, out of where his eyes should be. The beam of electricity goes through his body and out into the eye of the storm as the ark connects with the world.
Oh, hell yeah.
Voss is air fried alive by Noah's Ark. The beam of electricity stops, and Voss's body falls, drained of all moisture and fried to a crunch. Gina and Indy look on, and Locust tells them to get off the boat now. They appropriately choose now to start listening to him and jump off the boat. From the eye of the storm where the electricity shot through Voss, a portal opens up. Locust steers the ark into the portal. The ark enters, and Locust is engulfed in white light. The ark disappears into the storm, and the storm passes. Gina and Indy are on the shores of the lake as the sunlight begins to dry them off. Gina asks Indy if he thinks Locust survived. Indy has no idea. They get up to leave, and Indy's hat is brought to the shore by a wave. Indy takes this as a win, and he grabs his hat and leaves.
Oh my, his hat found him in the end. That's some bullshit.
Invisible string theory, baby. They walk back to the ziggurat camp, and Gina says, "Well, I guess this is goodbye." Indy gives Gina Laura's notebook. Gina smiles and thanks him. He asks if she wants to hang out for a few days, and she declines. Gina says she has a hell of a story to tell, and she's afraid he'll be too stuck chasing the past. Indy says he can make room for other things, and Gina says, "Well, not me, not now. Goodbye, Strumbo." Gina goes to leave, then turns around and yells, "Jones!" Indy turns to see her running toward him. She throws herself into his arms and kisses him. A plane revs its engine behind them, a plane with the name Laura painted on the side. Gina ends the kiss and tells Indy to come find her when all of this is over. Maybe they can have a fancy dinner. She closes the door, and the plane takes off. Indy holds his hat in his hands, and he says, "I'd like that." And that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Bravo. Holy shit. That was completely and totally epic, as an Indiana Jones story should always be.
Oh, it's so much fun. And it's so different from Wolfenstein. It's not a clone. It's not the same shit. The way they approach combat is so different because they know BJ Blazkowicz is a murder machine and Indy has a liberal arts degree.
Yeah, I mean, he's killed, but he's not like a murder machine.
He's not like stoked about it.
Yeah, he's not Nathan Draking it around.
And to that point, he's not even close to a Nathan Drake.
Honestly, part of it sounded a little bit like We Happy Few in a way, where you're saying like the way that he was dressed can impact the way people treated him.
Yeah.
And then it's also very, it's a melee first-person game.
Very
for the
much
most part,
so.
right?
This is what We Happy Few should have been.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wish that game was good.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
It's so one of those, I said it's my favorite game. I didn't say it's a good game type shit.
Right?
Ah.
Well, my big curious question is, because like I said, apparently I completely guessed the name of the DLC just because like I thought it was a cool fucking title immediately.
It's literally the Order of Giants, Tom.
Now, does it tell what happened with the Ark and everything?
This is something that you can access before you get to the Ark.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna
this
phrase
is
it
not
like that.
Post-game content.
Correct. Yeah, it's like Controls DLC where you can accidentally stumble upon it after a certain point.
Then you know what? My guess, I don't think Lucas survived because I think he ended up in the Himalayas, and that's where the fucking Ark. That's why it ended up being in the mountains.
Himalayan, him is sitting.
He went to the same place that the Nazi boat was. Like, you know what? That was actually a pretty good location to hide this thing.
What are they gonna do? Look for it twice?
Yeah.
You fucking idiots. I think he went to another realm.
Okay, you would hope so.
Because the portal is also all white, and I'm assuming we might be able to see through the portal to a certain extent. This is making a leap, obviously. This is based on nothing, but I think he ascended.
All white like snow?
All white like God.
I know. I'm just arguing it for no reason.
You have no stake in this.
I have
Shut
none
up.
whatsoever. Anyways, Goombas, if you enjoyed that, make sure you liked our show, that you're subscribed to it, that you comment, do whatever you can.
We appreciate it. You can also check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Our Patreon has several levels. At $2, you get these episodes a day early and an extra bonus episode once a month. This month's bonus episode is the DLC, The Order of Giants. If you're at that tier, you get that. And at the $5 and above tier, you get a second bonus show.
Yes, that's called The Other Castle Plays Around. That's our exclusive video series.
Woohoo!
And as Andrea said, we've got the Order of Giants DLC coming up for our Patreon, and so here is a brief preview for that episode.
Sorry, I'm grounding my thoughts so I don't say something.
I get what you're going with.
So I don't
just
get
mean
bad
you
emails.
Can't be in double Colts.
Abigail stomps around and Indy gets on all fours and just starts crawling. He's like, maybe he can't see me
Let me get smaller.
if I'm real little. I know who I am. I'm settled in my personality and my values and morals and ethics. And then Wolfenstein came along and I was like, I'm different. My throat hurts and I'm sorry. I tried something.
And then if you also donate at the $5 and above tier, you're going to get a special Patreon producer's call out, because that's how we keep our show ad free.
And we appreciate you and we love you. Our friends like Aaron, Clinton, Daniel,
Ellen, Krisha, Molly,
Trenton, Chase, Jitsu,
X of Triforce, Luigi, So Thanatoasted.
and our friends Oliver and JCC.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for being here. And as always, this is Tom and Andrea reminding you.
Harrison Ford's so fucking hot, it's unreal.
And don't skip the cutscenes. Bye!